AEW. So our Wednesday night wrestling is back again, and yes, we are trying to survive from a very manic WrestleMania weekend. So I hope everyone is well. Yes, and we've got loads to talk about. We've got loads to go through. Absolutely tons. It's been quite a big day today in regards to news and rumours and things along those lines. We've obviously got two big shows. Certainly NXT, because last week we didn't get NXT TakeOver. So we've not had NXT TakeOver. So some of those key matches we will see tonight. The ladder match that's going to have all of the 6 female competitors trying to become the new number 1 contender. That is taking place tonight. As well as that, we've got Gargano versus Ciampa. This really could be match of the year. We know that Johnny Gargano has had like 5-star matches over the past couple of years, and this would feel like a big opportunity to add another one to that list. Apparently this is off-site as well, so apparently this is going to take place not in the Performance Center, so we don't know where. We don't know if it's going to be shot like a normal match or if it's going to be shot like a boneyard match. I kind of hope it isn't a boneyard match. I feel like boneyard matches need to be special. I think they need to be for maybe older competitors who maybe can't, perform in the ring as well as they used to. So I think it works really well for Sting, Undertaker, Goldberg, people like that. Maybe Hogan. Maybe Hogan could do something along those lines. But I don't really want to see that from Gargano and Ciampa, because I really feel like they can give us a great match in ring. So we don't need to really do anything other than that. But look, let's wait and see, because I'm sure whatever they've come up with is going to be very entertaining, a lot of fun, and I'm sure it will hit the mark, because as I said, those guys always tend to. So hello. Tegan Knox says Mike. DH says Daisy baby. Hi Days, will we see Killer Cross? Says Lucas. Hello to Lucas Wrestles as well. I think that you will see Killer Cross because obviously it was teased last week that Killer Cross was going to be making an appearance. I'd be very, very surprised if they teased it and then we didn't get Killer Cross. So yeah, I kind of feel like you will get Killer Cross, or maybe a tease or something along those lines. I'm not too sure. But I feel like you will actually see him. If I had to lean towards summer, I think he's going to actually appear this week. We've already had the tease, so I think this week maybe we actually see him. So, yeah, Killer Cross, I've got that written down, actually, that I am expecting him. But as I said, there's quite a few things that we need to go through, because obviously William Regal announced on the bump that there's going to be a tournament for the interim Cruiserweight Championship. So basically Jordan Devlin is stuck in Ireland. He went back to Ireland, and obviously there's a travel ban. So that means that their Cruiserweight champion is not in America at this time. So it means that he can't defend in matches. So what they're going to do, because we don't know how long this is going to last, this travel ban, they're gonna try and crown a new champion. Now, this person is only an interim champion. They're holding it whilst the champion's away. Now, once Devlin's back, there will be a match between these two. Whoever the interim champion is will face Jordan Devlin, and that'll be a very tasty match. We don't know who's in the tournament yet. We've only seen or heard that the tournament is coming. So we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, very interesting news coming out of the bump. And as well as that, he was talking about Pete Dunne and the fact that Pete Dunne is also trapped in the UK. So yeah, Pete Dunne is trapped here as well. So we don't know yet what's going to happen with the NXT tag titles. So quite a bit happening in the WWE world in regards to NXT. So We'll have to see if there's any more announcements tonight. Miss Clown 1 says, glad to be here, even if I am working at 5 a.m. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Jason P says, Days, shout out. I'm going to go to Manchester College in September. Shout out to you, Jason. Nails and NY says, I love Pete Dunne's tweet calling someone's girl a grass. I haven't seen that. I have no idea what that's in reference to. Boston Bruins fan says, if you're wondering what the lady in the vignette said in the cross vignette last week, she said, there's no more time. The end is near. There we go. Boston Bruins fan 16. Shout out to you. LSW says, Days, shout out. Please don't spoil anything. Oh, yeah, of course. Forgot about that. The whole NXT thing. I'll tell you, I mean, yeah, forgot. Yeah, we have got a slight problem. For whatever reason, and I genuinely don't know, the UK tends to miss a couple of commercial breaks. So it tends to mean that our NXT starts at the same time, but actually finishes about 15 minutes before yours does in America and in Canada. Like, you have a few extra breaks than what we do. So what I'll do is I will talk about NXT, talk about what I'm seeing, but I am not going to give away any results. I think that's probably the best thing I can do. So I'll talk about the action. That was nice from such and such, or really like what they just did there, blah, 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 blah. Actually, just stuff about the match, but I won't give away who wins. So I think that's fair. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. I can't remember who it was, but someone last week pointed out that they think this is only because it's pre-taped. Like, because it's pre-taped, like, obviously, and it's not live, we that's how it's fallen out of sync. So once we go back to being live, which we don't know when that is, but once we do go back to being live, then we should be back in sync again. Days, Ali, Rosa Mendez, Billy Kay, Ruby Riott are a new tag team. Someone mentioned that. It might have been you, Charlie, that mentioned that the other day. I said the other day, I'll believe it when I see it. If you're telling me that's the case, then so be it. But again, I'll believe it when I see it. No way Charlotte is going to lose her first title defense. It'll put a downer on the ladder match. Can't see that they will let her drop the title to anyone but Rhea, and that kind of ruins NXT for me until she does, says Varin. Shout out to you. Charlotte's not in the ladder match tonight. I'm sure you already know that. This is to find the new number one contender. I do understand what you're saying. You're saying that even whoever wins this still is going to lose to Charlotte. And I would probably agree with that. I would probably agree. If you think that Charlotte is a heel, she's been portraying as a heel. So if Charlotte's a heel, I think that means that, I mean, the women that are in it, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green, Io Shirai. Now, there's 3 heels and 3 faces. So I think that there's no way a heel is going to win, because then you'd have heel versus heel. I can't see Io Shirai versus Charlotte. I can't see Chelsea Green versus Charlotte. I can't see Dakota Kai versus Charlotte. I think that it's going to be either Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, or Candice LeRae. And then that way you've got a face versus a heel. So I think it's one of those. I'd be leaning towards Mia Yim. I think Mia Yim against Charlotte would be a very interesting matchup. I feel like they will want to put the title on Candice LeRae at some point. I think Candice is someone that they really like, and they've just been waiting for the right time. You're absolutely right. This is not the right time, because I can't see Charlotte losing that title in her first defense. So I'm probably leaning towards Mia Yim winning, but not winning the belt. I think she could win the ladder match, but not win the belt. So I could be completely wrong on that, but yeah, we've got that tonight. We'll find out. We haven't got too long to wait. So the only two things that have been announced for NXT is Ciampa versus Gargano and the ladder match. So we've got both of those coming up. As we said, I've got tons of other stuff to talk about. Days, is Money in the Bank legit still going to happen? Shout out to John Elite. We think so. I can't give you a definite answer because this isn't a world where definite answers are possible at the moment because of the carnage that's going on. So, yeah, I can't give you a definite answer, but all I can say is that they keep advertising it. And I have heard rumours that they're planning on running it in an empty performance centre. We know that there's tapings this week as well. There's going to be TV tapings. There was a phone call between Vince and Donald Trump. We don't know what came out of the call or what was said on the call, but all of a sudden there's going to be TV tapings. And those TV tapings were not scheduled before, so I don't know if they've got special permission or allowance or whatever, but yeah, it seems like WWE can continue to tape. And I would imagine that they will try and get as much taped as possible. I don't think they're going to just tape each week's shows each week. I think they'll just tape as much as they can. So they might be doing something like Money in the Bank. They could be recording that in the next couple of weeks. And they might do all of the shows leading up to it because that's what AEW have done. AEW have taped all of their shows leading all the way up to Double or Nothing. So, yeah, which was very clever, actually, because it looks like that. Is it the Jacksonville area has been closed now? So, and I think the police even turned up whilst they were filming, but they'd already got pretty much everything they needed. So, yeah, they're AEW are fine. WWE aren't. They haven't got a great deal taped, but as we said, there are more tapings this week. So, yeah, I can't answer in regards to Money in the Bank, but all I can say is right now it looks all right. Looks all right. Sonny Wolf says, the Fiend box has already sold out. I wanted to get one next week. Wow, that's fast. That's very fast. I didn't bother with it myself, to be honest. I thought I'd let other people go for this one. So, in case you didn't hear, I had it jotted down to talk about. There was a new Firefly Funhouse box that came out today, all based on the Fiend, and it had a card that, like, if you angled it like that, it was Funhouse Bray, and if you did that, he turned into the Fiend. So it was quite a nice little card where you could see them changing from the one to the other. It had like an exclusive t-shirt. It had a little Fiend character collectible. They've been putting those in the different boxes. This one was the Fiend. As well as that, had like a Fiend bag, little, that you take to the gym or the swimming baths or something like that. What else did it have? Can't remember. There was another couple of items in there. Box looked quite nice as well, so yeah, I mean, people love The Fiend, so I kind of half expected this one to do very, very well, so can't say I'm massively surprised that it sold out, but I'm definitely surprised that it sold out that quickly. So there we go. So unfortunately, looks like a eBay job if you want to get one of those. Unfortunately, there's probably a lot of people that bought it to put it on eBay. This is the world that we live in, you know. Plus, a lot of people are off work at the moment, so maybe they had, like, time on their hands and they were able to snap them up. Imagine if The Fiend goes to AEW for Moxley and Jericho. Brackets, I know it won't happen, says Richard. Human Detox saying hello, gorgeous. The first one sold out. The first one sold out in 3 hours, says Sean Rousset. Yeah, that one was a really good one as well, because that was based on the Funhouse, and the inside of the box looked like the Funhouse, and you got Funhouse Bray and stuff like that, and of course it was the first one as well, so the ones after, each box that's come out after has taken longer to sell out, and we got to the point where I think like it was taking a couple of weeks to sell the boxes out. Well, clearly not anymore, not with the Fiend one, so yeah, I'm still surprised at how quick that one has sold. LSW says, Days, could you see Balor returning tonight? I don't know where Balor is. For all I know, Balor could be in Ireland. And don't forget, there was some reason as to why we couldn't get him versus Volta. I don't know what they're doing with NXT UK TV tapings. I mean, the UK is in lockdown, so maybe they're just not bothered about NXT UK TV tapings, or I actually haven't heard any rumours. I don't know where Balor is. He was about to work a program with Volta, so I kind of feel like he's more than likely in Ireland, along with Jordan Devlin. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can't say that I'm expecting him to be on the show tonight. Undeniable Heel says, Days, some guys that I would like to put in the tournament: Leo Rush, Tyler Breeze, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Oni Lorcan, Whackin' Wild, Tony Nese, and maybe Mike Kanellis. That's, some nice list. I agree with what people were saying earlier. I would like to see Tyler Breeze victorious. I feel like Tyler Breeze deserves to win a championship. I don't know that he has. I don't think he ever has. He's never won the NXT title. He didn't win anything on the main roster. I don't remember Breezango being tag team champions, so I've got a feeling that he's never won a belt. I can't picture Tyler Breeze with any championship, so yeah, I definitely would like Tyler Breeze to be victorious. He seems to be working a program, or he was working a program with Austin Theory, so I'm not sure if that's going to continue now, or if that's done because Theory's gone to Raw to be Angel Garza's partner. So, again, this is what I'm saying. This is not a world for certainties. I think storylines that they might have had planned are just all up in the air, and we don't know where the superstars are. Like, they could be stuck in certain places. So, there's too many moving parts to predict what's going to happen next. It's impossible to know, because, to be honest, I don't think they know. I think they're having to make it up on the fly. Like, I wasn't expecting a tournament to be announced for the Cruiserweight Championship, because I didn't know that Jordan Devlin couldn't defend it. So, yeah, it's crazy times. Jerry says, what's going on with Rhea Ripley? So, there was reports that Rhea Ripley lost the title because she has had to go back to Australia. Apparently her visa had expired, but everything I'm seeing says that that's false. Everything that I've seen says that that's not true. She's actually in the US and she's fine and she's staying and everything's okay. I mean, in all fairness, how do you even go back to Australia? I don't even know if there's like flights and things that's happening at the moment. So I genuinely don't know. There could be flights. I don't think she's on one. I think that she's fine in the US. I don't think there's any issue whatsoever. I think the reason she lost the title was to put the title onto Charlotte, because I think they need a little bit more star power on a Wednesday. So I'd be really interested to know, coming out of WrestleMania, what tonight's numbers look like, because will NXT get a bit of a bump because of the fact that it's Gargano versus Ciampa, it's the ladder match, Charlotte is the NXT Women's Champ. Will we see a difference there, you know? I'm surprised in a way that we didn't get more NXT talent on WrestleMania. I kind of feel like NXT kind of didn't get ignored, but they could have put Adam Cole. Do you know what I mean? Like, why couldn't they have put an Adam Cole match on at WrestleMania and defended, like, instead of Elias versus King Corbin, give me Adam Cole versus anyone. That would have been a great advert for NXT, but for whatever reason, they didn't go that way. So I'd be interested to know, though, what the numbers are like for NXT. Because I think it could get quite close tonight. I'm not sure that NXT is still going to beat AEW. I think AEW will still come out on top. DJ B Tazzy says the kids magazine looked really nice. Yeah, it's a good issue, this one. I actually thought the gifts were good, but I genuinely thought the magazine was good this month. Like, the magazine's normally good anyway. Like, with the magazine, I genuinely am a fan because I know it's aimed at kids, but the posters in there are legit really cool. Like, I got a really cool Iconics poster out of it before. I've had a really cool Fiend poster out of it. There's a really nice Edge poster in there this month. So posters, like, genuinely are really good in there. They have some really good interviews as well. And like this one, they do Rhea Ripley, and they interview Drew McIntyre as well. So a lot of the interviews tend to be really interesting. Like the competitions and whatever, obviously I don't enter those. Like those obviously are more for kids. And obviously you can get like colouring in bits and stuff like that, which again I don't tend to do. So those kinds of things I don't like take part in, but I do like the posters, I do like the interviews, and this had like a really good WrestleMania moments article as well. So I was reading that also. So nothing that I didn't really know already, but just some nice recaps. So yeah, I genuinely liked it, and as we said, you know, some interesting gifts. And if you've not seen that video, went up earlier. What was amazing about the video was that I actually, for the first time, turned on 2 lights. I've got 2 lights. Whenever I'm doing this streams, I've got 1 light in front of me. Well, there's a second light in the room, and I was like, do you know what? Let's see if this makes a big difference. Let's turn both lights on. And actually what it did was it made the camera settings go darker. And so the end result was the video looks darker than a normal video that I do. I had more light, and it resulted in the video looking darker. It must be on like an automatic setting or something. So when I was watching it back, I was like, oh, this looks too dark. But there was, I mean, I'd already opened the magazine. There wasn't much I could do at that point. So and I'd already filmed it. So yeah, if it feels a little dark, then that's the reason for it. There's actually more light in the room. So lesson learned. But yeah, that video went up earlier. And obviously, I don't know what reaction videos or what theory videos or news videos are going to come out of today, because we could be seeing Killer Cross. Anything could happen on AEW as well. AEW are going to be starting their tournament for the TNT Championship. They've got that happening as well. So let me just quickly run through AEW. So they've got Britt Baker taking on Shida. They've got Cody Rhodes taking on Shawn Spears. That's in the first round of the tournament. They've got Lance Archer in action. They've got Brody Lee in action. And it says here Jericho will be appearing as well. So that kind of suggests that Jericho's doing a promo or something along those lines. It doesn't say he's in a match. So Cody versus Spears, Britt Baker versus Shida, Lance Archer, Brody Lee, Jericho in action, or appears, I should say. And also, just a bit of interesting news regarding Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake is saying that he is now self-isolating. I don't think it's because he's got coronavirus or anything like that. Apparently, there's a baby in DDP's house, right? I mean, I don't think he's had a kid, so I don't know if it's one of his kids' kids. But apparently DDP has got a baby round his house. And Jake was staying with DDP. Jake was staying with Diamond Dallas Page. And DDP said, look, if you go to the AEW tapings, you cannot come back here. Like, I'm not being nasty, but I don't want to run the risk. What would there be in a baby in the house of you going and bringing something back? So you can stay or you can go. And he went, you know, I mean, like, you haven't maybe seen everything that he's done yet, because he went to the tapings. So, you know, he went and taped all what's to come. So apparently now he's self-isolating in a hotel. He's in a hotel room, and he's just like, that's it for a couple of weeks. So that's what Jake the Snake's doing. This was something he said on a recent podcast. So kind of crazy, yeah. So that's AEW. And as we said, in regards to NXT, Ciampa versus Gargano and ladder match, and potentially Killer Cross. We'll have to wait and see. The Rhea Ripley news looks like it's fake news. The other thing to talk about is Goldberg. Goldberg apparently lobbied. Is that the right way to say it? Lobbied. I think so. To beat The Fiend. So Goldberg, when he arrived in Saudi Arabia, basically made the argument that he should win. Because he said he was going to be sticking around. I think WrestleMania was his final date, so he was going to be sticking around. He said it would make him look weak to younger fans if he lost to The Fiend, and apparently he was very vocal about that he should beat The Fiend. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's just gossip or if that conversation actually happened, but if it did actually happen, then, wow, Goldberg is not going to be a popular person because that result really upset a lot of people. Like, I genuinely think that it did a bit of damage to the Fiend character because now there's people, like, obviously coming up with theories to try and explain it. But the truth is that Vince changed his mind just hours before. Like, the Fiend was meant to win that match. The Fiend was going to beat Goldberg, and then something happened and Vince changed his mind. Well, we might know what happened now. It might be that Goldberg actually had a little word with Vince McMahon, but there's no way of knowing if that's true or not. So, Undeniable Heel said Days Bliss and Cross versus Kabuki Warriors at WrestleMania. The rematch will be on SmackDown. Cool. Oh my god, who left Jake in a hotel by himself? Says Almighty Ironhead. Nothing anyone can do, is there? I mean, you just have to hope that those demons don't return. Because I thought the same. Last thing you want to do really is have Jake the Snake in a hotel with easy access to alcohol and stuff like that. So yeah, fingers crossed, really hoping that he doesn't relapse. But I'm sure he's on the phone to DDP all the time, so hopefully everything's okay. Abdi says there's rumours that Eva Marie is coming back. Do you know what I'm going to say about Eva Marie? It's well documented that I really don't like her as a wrestler. I would hope that it's also well documented that I have no ill will feelings towards her as a person. Like, I don't care about her as a person. My problem with her was always that she was a rubbish wrestler, and I didn't want to see her matches. And like, whenever she did wrestle, she would botch all the time, and she was just awful. She was awful. And she kind of represented everything about women's wrestling that I hated. Like, she never wrestled before she joined WWE. She was literally brought in for her looks. Then, like, they didn't know what to do with her, so they tried to turn her into a wrestler. And she was awful. So, yeah, this was my problem with Eva Marie. Now, if she's been away and she's been learning how to wrestle, and she comes back and she's passable, you know, she's all right, she can actually do it, I ain't going to have a problem with her. I'll be all right with her. So, do I want her back? No. But if she does come back, I will watch. If she's all right, I'll say she's all right, and I'll give her credit where it's due. So, yeah, I don't want her back. Well, let's just wait and see what happens. That's how I feel about that. On TV right now, they're actually showing Raw, and I am finding it a little bit distracting because we're up to the Nia Jax match. And if you watched the stream the other day, you will know that it crashed. The stream actually crashed, which was super upsetting. But it did mean that whilst I was trying to bring it back, I actually missed this match. So I'm currently watching the Nia Jax versus Tiana Perazzo match. And I really like Tiana Perazzo. I think Tiana Perazzo's like a decent wrestler. And she's getting battered. Samoan drop. Puts Tiana Perazzo down, and apparently Nia Jax has got Paige's Rampage, or is it Paige Turner? No, Rampage. Yes, it's here. This is it, where she picks them up, drives them down. It's like a DDT in many ways, and there we go. Nia Jax with a very quick, simple win. Not looking really any different to how we've seen her before. Eva Marie was the Carol Baskin of WWE. Yes, Carol Baskin. allegedly killed her husband, whereas Eva Marie killed my love of wrestling. A grey beanie today, says Chalmers. Yes. Hello, Brent Lanning. Hope you are well. Days, have you seen the new This Is Such Good Beep shirt? No, I haven't, actually. No. Is that doing the rounds on social media? I'll try and have a look at that in a sec. Shout out to you, Brent. Hope you are well, buddy. Days, what is the Rhea Ripley news? The Rhea Ripley news is there is no news. That's the Rhea Ripley news. The Rhea Ripley news is that there were rumours that she had gone back to Australia because her visa had expired. Now, this news was reported yesterday, but the news today is actually that's rubbish and she's in America. So, the Rhea Ripley news is there is no news. Days, what do you think about a possible McIntyre-Orton feud? Yeah, I've got to say, do you know what? Actually, this is quite interesting. We did a stream after the stream crashed. So, the stream crashed on Monday. So, we got about, I don't know, an hour from the end of Raw, and then the stream crashed. I managed to get it back with about 20 minutes left. So, we actually saw the end of Raw, and that stream is now set to private. So, that second stream, you'll never see it. It's the lost stream. So no one will ever see it ever again. But I did watch the Drew McIntyre Big Show match. And I got to tell you, I was impressed. I don't understand why people have struggled with it. People are like, why did he go back to the ring? Well, he just won the title in that ring. If I had beaten Brock Lesnar for the title, I would also want to stand in that ring with the title just to believe that it had happened. So I had no problem with Drew McIntyre going back to the ring. And actually, on the bump earlier, he said that he wanted to do the interview with a different setting. He didn't want to just stand out back. Why stand out back when you can go down to the ring and do it in the ring with the WrestleMania graphics and all that kind of stuff? So I got no issue with that. Big Show arrives. And Drew says, like, I didn't even know he was there. You know, why was he gonna like challenge whoever won? Was he gonna challenge Brock if Brock had won? Obviously, only Big Show can answer that. But I thought it was all right. I mean, it could have been anyone, but I don't mind seeing Big Show from time to time. I kind of feel like he is a legend. You got to remember, this is the same guy that, you know, arrived on the scene as the Giant and challenged Hulk Hogan in WCW. And, you know, he has done a lot in his career. Faced Money Mayweather at WrestleMania 24. And he's been booked awfully. But, you know, that's still a big challenge for Drew McIntyre to try and overcome. Especially considering he'd only just beaten Brock 20 minutes before. So he beat Brock 20 minutes before. He's still going to be, you know, knackered. And now he's got to try and beat the Big Show. And I love the fact that he didn't want the fight. I love the fact that when Big Show arrived, he was like, no, I'm not fighting you. I've just beaten Brock. There's too many wrestlers that would turn around and say, yeah, I'll fight you anywhere, anytime. I'll fight you right now. I love the fact that he turned around and went, you joking? There's no way I'm going to fight you. And it was only because he got slapped that he did. Because he got slapped that he did end up fighting him. And he got battered. He got absolutely battered, and it looked like he was going to lose the title. And I thought the storytelling was good. I thought it was one of the best Drew matches I'd seen. I was kind of like edge of the seat. I did want Big Show to win. I'm being honest. I did want Big Show because I just wanted to see Twitter's reaction. I just wanted to see Twitter melt down, saying it was the worst thing that's ever happened and all this. So I was kind of secretly and not so secretly rooting for Big Show, but no, I mean, look, Drew retained, and I thought it was very good. I was personally entertained by it, so I was a little disappointed to see so many people having like issues with it. Like, oh, why Big Show? Why not? Why not? Why did he go to the ring after? Well, again, why not? You know, I don't know. I don't know why people struggled with it. Big Show does better stink faces than Rikishi, says Charlie. Days, I saw a rumour that the Brawl for All is coming back, says James Chadwick. No, I don't know that is the rumour. I think the news report was that Vince wanted to bring it back. Not that he's going to bring it back. I think he wanted to bring it back. I even saw it might have been around 2010, so it might have been a long time ago. But I haven't seen anything suggesting that he wants to bring it back now. I think this is an idea that he had maybe for like the original NXT. For those of you that don't know what the Brawl for All is, that was a legit like boxing contest that WWE held. And it was real. It was as real as it gets, and it's kind of regarded as an absolute disaster because the people that they expected to win were not the people that won. So they were trying to build up certain stars, and it kind of backfired. And really interesting stuff. I think actually there was a Dark Side of the Ring episode on it last night, which I haven't seen. So, definitely check it out if you've not seen that. But there's quite a few documentaries and news pieces on the Brawl for All. A really good one would be Bruce Pritchard's Something to Wrestle With, his podcast. They actually do a whole episode on the Brawl for All, kind of really break down the numbers and go through it all. And that should be available on YouTube. So you'd be able to listen to that. It's really interesting. And regarded as one of the biggest failures because wasn't it Bart Gunn that won the tournament, and his prize was he got to fight Butterbean at WrestleMania. I think he gets knocked out in like 20 seconds. So the person that they find, like the best person, the person that won the tournament, ends up getting knocked out in about 20 seconds, which makes the whole thing just look ridiculous anyway. So it was what it was. But, I need to catch up. I still need to watch the New Jack episode of Dark Side of the Ring. I need to watch the Brawl for All. I think next week it looks at Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Superfly Snuka and the alleged, or him being, alleged to have murdered his then girlfriend at the time in the 80s. So it's going to look at that. Days, I really wish that Big E did a 5-count gimmick on the main roster. Instead of keeping it in NXT, it was over, says Ben the Tank. Yeah, I agree, but I think that's more for his solo run, isn't it? If you think that Big E is in the New Day, he's all about the power of positivity, and pancakes and dancing and bootios and all this kind of stuff. The 5-count doesn't really fit with Big E where Big E is at the moment. If Big E turns heel or goes off in like a different direction, like a solo run, then like the 5-count might return. I think if you get a solo Big E that's not like power of positivity and not New Day Big E, then you might see that 5-count coming back, because that was his gimmick when he was in NXT. Blue and White Army says, I might have a beer. It's 12:30 in the UK. What beer should I have? Heineken or Corona? Go for whatever you want, bud. Go for whatever you want. Days, I'm surprised that Superfly isn't one of your all-time faves. Brent, he kind of was on my radar. Certainly as a kid, I would always stand on my headboard of my bed. So whenever I was a kid and I was like play wrestling with my brother, I've told stories before about the full Nelson was my move of choice. I always put the full Nelson on. And we'd always be clotheslining each other and figure 4 leg locks and sharpshooters and, all that good stuff. But if ever I was doing any aerial work, because I was an all-rounder. I was a very good all-rounder back in the day. I could brawl. I was technical. I was a high flyer. But whenever I did, you would always give the Superfly hand gestures. And, you jump in the air with the Superfly hand gestures. And he is one of the all-time best high flyers, Superfly. Of course, you've got that iconic moment where he jumps off the top of the cage, crashing down onto Don Morocco, I believe it was. Madison Square Garden, I think. Not too sure. Memory is... I'd have to re-look that up. But I know it's at the top of the cage. Early 80s. Don Morocco was the opponent. Such an iconic moment. I feel like Bubba Ray Dudley was in the crowd. Something in my head says that he was in like the second or third row, and I think he's spoken about seeing it live. And yeah, it was crazy. You just didn't get those kind of moments back in the day. Like, you'd look at it now and go, okay, yeah. I've seen Shane McMahon jump off Hell in a Cell, or I've seen Cody do a moonsault from the top of a cage, or I've seen Lince Dorado fall from the top of the Elimination Chamber. So you'd look at it now and not think twice. But back in the day, well, I'm sure Brent, you know, I know you know. So I can't say that he was a favourite, but I certainly had a respect for him, and I certainly loved his Hasbro figure. That's, I think, how he was on my radar, was his Hasbro figure. Plus, I thought the Superfly was just a great name. Jimmy the Superfly Snooker. So, yeah, it was very cool. Days, what do you think happens in Gargano versus Ciampa? What do you think happens with Gargano Ciampa? I think I hope it's clean. I hope that whoever wins settles it. I think it'll probably be Gargano that wins. So I think Johnny will get the victory, and then Killer Cross will come out. I don't know where it is. I don't know how it's shot. I'm told it's off-site. As I said at the start of the stream, it could be a bit like the Boneyard match. We're going to have to wait and see. He was such a technician, and his physique was ahead of his time. Yes, he was ripped. I mean, he was the definition of ripped. He looked absolutely incredible. And of course, the iconic coconut moment as well on Piper's Pit. So, like, there's so much we can talk about with that, because apparently he didn't even know it was going to happen. So, Roddy Piper says, get me things that represent, was it Fiji or maybe Samoa? I can't remember. It might have been Fiji. So, he said to the technicians, he was like, right, I've got Superfly on. Get me some stuff that represents Fiji or wherever he's from. So they got, like, fruit. So, you know, they got coconuts. They got apples, they got pears, they got bananas, and basically Roddy Piper went through the bag and was trying to poke fun at all the different fruits, and he was like, and do you want a coconut, do you? You like your I know you guys, you like your coconuts, don't you, over there? Well, I've got a coconut here, and then smacks him round the head with it. But he did not know. Jimmy Superfly Snuka did not know that was what was. It was never spoke about. It was never rehearsed. It was never, like, planned or anything like this. And he genuinely gets what. It's not a gimmicked coconut. It's not as if they've got a fake coconut or anything. It's a real coconut. Jimmy Superfly didn't know it was going to happen. Roddy Piper said that was one of the first times he'd ever held a coconut. Like, he'd never seen a coconut. He wasn't eating coconut or enjoying coconut, so he never had coconut before. So he was like, oh, this has got some weight to it. Yeah, I could probably use this. And so he smacks him with this coconut. But I mean, man, it's incredible. And the coconut explodes. No, it's one of the most iconic moments. Kind of crazy when you actually hear that wasn't gimmicked, wasn't planned, wasn't rehearsed. Jimmy didn't know it was going to happen. Apparently the anger that Jimmy has at the end. So obviously he goes down, and like when he's down, Roddy Piper's standing there and he's like, I need to do something. I don't know what to do. We've got some time to fill. And like, cause Superfly was just kind of crawling on the floor, obviously trying to get his senses back. So Roddy Piper starts whipping him with his belt, and started to whip him with his belt because he didn't know what else to do. He didn't want to just stand there. So he's like, well, let's fill some time. Here we go. Start whipping him. And when Superfly gets up to his feet and he's like, ah, that is genuine rage. That is genuine rage, genuine upset, because he had no idea what was going to happen, and what had happened was going to happen. So I love those kinds of stories, you know. A load of like the shoot interviews that have come out in recent years are so fascinating to me. I do like to try and catch up and watch a few bits and bobs on the internet. And I can't remember where all of that story I've just told you I heard from the mouth of Roddy Piper on a shoot interview on YouTube. I think it's Kayfabe Commentaries. So if you go on YouTube, search Roddy Piper Coconut Incident Shoot Interview, you're going to find it. And that's where I got it from. So, Liam Costa says, Days, how are you? I can't wait for the Johnny versus Ciampa match. It's going to be a classic. 5 stars, no doubt. I agree. Your boy says the best work is when it's not planned. That actually brings us to the Boneyard match, because apparently a lot of the dialogue in the Boneyard match was not scripted. So I watched a video. I like to give credit where it's due. And I watched a What Culture video. And it was 7 things that you didn't know about the Boneyard match, or 7 secrets about the Boneyard match. And to be honest, I never watch Cultaholic, Wrestle Talk, What Cult. I just don't have time. But for whatever reason, I can't remember what it was earlier today. I did quickly go onto YouTube, and this video was recommended to me, and I was like, okay, let's have a look at this. This could be quite interesting. And I clicked on it, and it actually was. They said that it was directed by Triple H, and there's the picture of Triple H, like, you know, calling the action. You can see AJ and Undertaker, and you can see Triple H, like, telling them what to do. Apparently, a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the stuff that was spoken was just improvised on the spot. Wasn't planned. And did you know, apparently, the hand that comes out the grave at the end, fake hand. It's not AJ's hand. They found a fake hand. I don't know how you find a fake hand, but they found a fake hand, and they didn't know what to do with it. And it was actually Undertaker that said, well, if you remember back in the day, I put my hand up after a Buried Alive match. It might be a nice call back to that if we have AJ and his glove doing the same. So they used the fake hand for that. So that shot of the hand coming out of the grave, that's not AJ's hand, that's a fake hand. And I found that out from a What Culture video. So, again, interesting stuff. The coconut stuff was redone in a different house show at the time, says the Jeffo Experience. Shout out to the Jeffo Experience. Always got great knowledge. I don't like coconuts, says Sonny Wolf. Triple H is God, says your boy Yoshi Sensei. This has been a very weird stream so far. Like, literally, we've just been real hardcore wrestling conversation. Normally, we like to have a little bit of fun with stuff, but I kind of feel like the Wednesday streams are very much hardcore wrestling, because, of course, we've got 2 shows to talk about. We've got AEW, we've got WWE. I think we all kind of knew that this was going to be probably more WWE focused, because I do feel going into this week, NXT has, you know, got the bigger card, if you will, because it was meant to have been TakeOver, you know, and there's a lot of excitement around Ciampa versus Gargano. I think they've done a good job of building up that women's ladder match as well, with like all the qualifying matches in recent weeks. I mean, this isn't for the title. It feels like this should be for the title. Like, it's that big. Do you know what I mean? This is just to find the number 1 contender. It's kind of crazy when you think that Braun Strowman just appears on a graphic, or Roman can just walk up to Goldberg and say, I'm next. Yet the women of NXT have to literally move mountains. Like, they have to go through qualifying matches. Now they're in a ladder match. And whoever wins all of this just doesn't even get the title. Just becomes number 1 contender. So, man, they're making them earn their keep down in NXT. So, Days, what was your favourite moment from the Firefly Funhouse match? My favourite moment from the Firefly Funhouse match, probably the bit where I think Jodie said this the other day, and I agree with her. Probably the bit where Bray is in the ring, he's got his arms out, and he's telling John to use the chair, because obviously that's a callback to WrestleMania 30. Bray was trying to get John to use the chair. He was trying to get... It's really cool, actually, watching WrestleMania 30, because what Bray is trying to do is he is trying to get John to let the darkness in. He's trying to let John be consumed by his own darkness, and he was doing that 6 years ago at WrestleMania 30, because he wanted John to use the chair. Now, obviously, that'd be a heel thing to do, because, you know, John should be doing the right things. fighting the right way, not using a weapon. And at WrestleMania 30, he doesn't use the chair, whereas what we saw at WrestleMania 36 was John Cena using the chair, finally swinging and using the chair. Now, what I would say is that everything you saw was in a different realm. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how much of what you saw translates into reality. So it could be that John Cena has turned heel. Absolutely, it could. It could be that John Cena has vanished and retired. I think that's less likely. I'd be amazed if that was John Cena's last appearance. So I don't think that's the end of John. But I definitely feel like this could be a heel John Cena. And obviously WWE tweeted out the images of John and in the NWO kind of stuff. And they said HLR is like equal to NWO. So my theory, something that I was pondering, could John Cena be a heel? Could he be about to start a new group? Because Jody made the good point of there's no filming going on for John Cena at the moment. So Cena hasn't got anything else to do. So if they're going to record some TV, there's nothing really stopping John Cena just having a little faction for a little while and sticking around for just a little bit. And I'm just wondering, I wonder if his group's going to be called HLR, Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, but it's just called the HLR. Because that's what it said on that tweet. HLR equal to NWO. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Gaming in real time says Days, The Fiend versus Aleister Black. Who wins? Depends on the story. Depends what's happening. I would think The Fiend, but again, it depends on the situation. It depends on if Bray needs time off at that time, or, you know, has Aleister won the title? Is this his first title defense? Because, you know, I think that Aleister might retain it if that was the case. So, impossible to say, but without knowing the situation. My favorite the Firefly Funhouse match was Bray said, "You can look, but you can't touch." Yes, Brian, that was awesome. That is what are you most looking forward to? AEW NXT instead of Ciampa Gargano? That's a good question. I'm looking forward to the women's ladder match. I mean, I know they've only announced those two things, but I am genuinely looking forward to the women's ladder match because I love ladder matches, and I feel like this has got great potential because you've got a lot of different styles in there. Like, you got Mia Yim that's like a brawler, but then you've got the technical wrestling of like Tegan Nox and Candice LeRae, who I feel are a bit more technical than any of the other girls. And then you've got obviously the aerial ability of Io Shirai, who I think can do some. She could really steal the spotlight here, Io Shirai. So I'm not sure what Chelsea Green brings, to be honest. I haven't seen enough of Chelsea Green. So we'll have to kind of see how it plays out, but I'm very intrigued by it. I think the build for it has been very good, and I think it should be a very good ladder match. And obviously this would have taken place at TakeOver. I think they would have had this women's ladder match at TakeOver, and obviously the plan all along was to do the NXT women's match at WrestleMania. So make no mistake about it, this absolutely would have been on TakeOver. We would have seen this match at TakeOver. So last week we had Keith Lee versus Dijakovic versus Damian Priest. That would have been at TakeOver. And tonight we get Ciampa versus Gargano. We get the ladder match as well. I'm not sure what will be next week. I'm sure there'll be some kind of TakeOver match that should have been on TakeOver. I'm sure we'll get that next week. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what else is on the show. They haven't announced anything else. Over on AEW, not too bothered about Lance Archer and Brody Lee, to be honest. I think they're just going to be in squash matches and they're just going to win and just look cool. Britt Baker versus Shida's had a decent build, but I'm not the biggest Britt Baker fan. I feel like her promos have gotten better. I think that she's become a bit more of a personality. They've really leaned on those promos, and her interactions with Tony have been good. Especially considering I thought that first one was a disaster. They kept doing them, and she kept getting better, and they actually got quite good. So I kind of feel like more of her personality came out. So I suppose I'm looking at that. And then Cody versus Shawn Spears. Be all right. I think I'm definitely got a closer eye on NXT tonight, but AEW has a great way of surprising us, and has been putting out really good shows. So they could pull out another one. What time is it? We've got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. We've been talking for 56 minutes. So we got 4 minutes. Right, Days, have you seen John Cena's new tweet? If so, what do you think it means? It says, all things end. When it is time to leave them guessing. I think that, I think wrestling has really embraced cryptic messages. And, I think I'm very much getting to the point now where I just don't really care, to be honest. I think there's too many now. I think when Bray was doing it and we were looking for stuff in the funhouse, I think that was fun. I think then no one else was really doing it, and then Liv started doing it, and at the start it was fun, but it just went on forever. And I think then like we've started to see a lot of people doing cryptic messages. I think AEW have started doing it as well, you know, with the whole Exalted one. Matt Hardy then started to do it. Now we've had the teasers going into the Funhouse match. Now you've got it being teased about John Cena. There was all the teasers around the glitch. There's so much that I just kind of look at it and it's like, wow, look, what will be, will be. I don't think there's anything in that he's. I would say that it's teasing the end for John Cena, because he's talking about when it's the end, leave them guessing. So I would say that it seems to me like he's teasing that was the end, because we're certainly guessing right now as to what's next. So I would read that into it, but yeah, to be honest, I would rather SmackDown comes and we just get some answers, you know? 'Cause it's all right to sit and speculate about it, but yeah, there's a lot of it now. There's a lot of it now. Days, don't hate Britt Baker, because guess what? She's a dentist. I don't hate Britt Baker. She's just not someone that I don't know. She's not someone that I root for. I mean, I suppose that's what makes a good heel. I think being a heel works better for her, because I wasn't really rooting for her when she was a face, because the whole dentist thing got really annoying. So, yeah, I wasn't really rooting for her when she was a face. So I think the heel turn has actually been really good for her. And she's definitely someone that can wrestle. So it's not as if she's like Eva Marie or anything like this. So she's got a lot going for her, you know. I think her promos with Tony have been all right. And then like last week, you know, where she showed off her shoe and then she started beating up Cody. So I've seen that like used as a GIF all over the internet as well. So yeah, she's got a lot going for her. I don't hate Britt Baker. I want to keep an eye on that match because it's had a decent build. Shida and Britt Baker. So check Triple H's Twitter. Just let me know what it says. I can't imagine Triple H is teasing stuff. We've just been talking about teasing things. Triple H doesn't strike me as someone that's ever going to go down that road. So, what has he said? Days, what do you call a boomerang that never comes back? A stick. There we go, a Michael moment. Days, I'm sorry I had issues with Twitter. No worries, Eric. Henry's Wrestling says, they say first is the worst, second the best. In this case, Bray's messages were second. Swamp Manor says, Days, what do you think the most iconic moment of all time is? Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, face-to-face, WrestleMania 3. Right, we're going over to AEW. My NXT feed hasn't started, and we're actually starting with Jake the Snake Roberts, who's sitting down and giving us a little promo. See what Jake's got to say. That whispering tone of Jake. Okay. Would you jump out of an airplane without a parachute? Would you stand in front of a train that was hurtling towards you? No. No, Jake, no, I wouldn't. He's talking about how Cody hasn't got a prayer of winning. You'll wind up in the same position. Done. Step in the ring with Lance Archer and it is done. I love this from Jake. Jake is saying, I know what happened to you, Marko. No one else wanted that fight. No one else wanted that fight. Why do the shows have to start at 1 a.m? Don't know, Swamp Manor. NXT has begun, but we've just got a recap of Gargano and Ciampa, like little video packages. Triple H tweeted out the location. Okay, where is it? What is it? I'm doing a universe mode. I need some suggestions for custom dream tag teams. There we go. Hopefully some people will give you that, Shahib. Right, so Jake the Snake starts off AEW with a promo, and it's a very good promo. They're always good promos. Jake the Snake doesn't know how to do anything but good promos. We've got people at ringside, which I don't recognise some of them, to be honest. I can see Billy Gunn and his son, but there were some people there that I didn't recognise. Right, coming out, I think, is this Lance Archer. Yeah. So Lance Archer making his way down. There's a briefcase suspended above the ring at Full Sail. So I'm guessing that's for the ladder match. Okay, so Lance Archer. So it says takeover, and it is the ladder match. We're starting with the ladder match over on NXT. So is it a briefcase? I mean, like, is this like their Money in the Bank or something? I love EO's music. Woo. EO's music is so different. The Genius of the Sky, Io Shirai. It's IRS's briefcase. You're right, it is IRS's briefcase, yes. It is. I have no idea. Who's he facing? Who's Lance Archer facing? The daughter of the devil, Io Shirai. Dave's going to get a shout out. Shout out to Ian Thompson. Hope you are well. Jake is a promo monster, says Butterspark. Absolutely. Dave, did you finally give Bump a chance? I hate the Bump. I honestly hate that show. I hate it so much I've blocked it on Twitter. That's how much I hate that program. They just, oh my, I can't cope. I can't watch it. They love everything. Like, everything to them, the way they present it, it's like they're giving their honest thoughts. It's like, yeah, I was at home with my flatmate and I watched it, and everything was brilliant. Like, nothing was rubbish. Everything was amazing. And this was amazing and all this. And I saw that Bubba was on there. And Bubba was on there, and he was like, I was watching Undertaker versus AJ in the Boneyard match. And do you know what I thought? And they were like, no, Bubba, what did you think? What? Do you know what I thought? I thought, next year, they should do this. Oh, yeah. And it needs to be Sting. And the way that he looked when he said that, it was as if he'd just come up with the most mind-blowing idea that's ever been thought of. And I was sitting watching it going, we literally spoke about that on the watch-alongs. I've seen people online talking about it. He has literally just said something that everyone is saying right now. Do you know what I mean? It's as if Bubba just went onto the bump and went, do you know what? Ciampa versus Gargano. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be. I can't cope with that show. I really hate it. And then another part of the bump that I saw earlier, Sheamus was on, and Sheamus said Drew's victory wasn't a victory for Britain. It was a victory for Scotland. It wasn't a victory for Britain. And I was like, oh, that's a really good message to send out for all the kids. Do you know what I mean? I was under the impression Drew McIntyre like thanked everyone at home, and I'm pretty sure in the UK they've been like really pushing the fact he's the first British champion. Yeah, according to Sheamus on the bump, it's not a victory for Britain, and so there we go. There was another bit as well where one of the guys talked about how it's hard to like women. One of the 3 regular guys that sat there actually said something along the lines of like, it's hard to like, I know it's hard to like women, or something like that. I was like, I had to turn it off. I was only watching for the William Regal announcement, and then that turned out to be a tournament, like for the cruiserweight title. The kind of bit of news that, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm never falling for this again. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that show. The only other time I've watched that show was the first episode. And when I first watched it, they spent the first 5 minutes talking about American football. I was like, what was that? What's this? Right, all these women are making their way out. Oh, over on AEW, Lance Archer's already won. Dakota Kai come down with Raquel Gonzalez. Over on AEW, we've got Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida. Who did I talk to? I think Conman dropped me a message on Twitter, because he saw that someone had asked me about the bump, and he was like, how come you hate the bump? And I said to him, I was like, it reminds me of like, it's like a kid's Saturday morning TV show, which I've got no problem with, but I wasn't under the impression that's what it was. But it feels like a kid's morning TV show. Like, they have some guests on, everything's brilliant. Like, they keep going to different things. What did you think about WrestleMania? It was all great. Now let's go and have a talk to Drew McIntyre and all this kind of stuff. So it's got that kind of Saturday morning kids show feel, which if that's what it is, no problem whatsoever. In fact, that's probably a good thing for them to do. Do you know what I mean? A Saturday morning kids show thing. But I'm sure there's swearing on the bump. I'm sure I was watching it and there was quite a lot of swearing, so I can't quite tell who it's aimed at. I can't quite tell. Right, over on AEW, we've got Shida taking on, I think she's got the Hikaru bit back. So we've got Hikaru Shida, I should say, taking on Britt Baker. Over on NXT, Mia Yim, Chelsea Green, Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Io Shirai. Outside the ring, I don't know why they're outside the ring, because surely they're going to interfere. Is Robert Stone and Raquel Gonzalez. Obviously, these women are going to have to go out and grab ladders and things So straight away, the referees should be telling Raquel Gonzalez and should be telling Robert Stone to leave the ringside area. So I really don't get why they're sticking around. Over on AEW, we're underway with Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker, which should be a really good match. And here we go. Look, Raquel Gonzalez grabbing a ladder already. Not a fan of that. Don't understand why the refs aren't removing. There we go. Double drop kick. Raquel Gonzalez goes down. Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. So Dakota Kai is being surrounded by Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae. Is it just me? Or is Tegan Nox just not very scary? Every time I look at Tegan Nox, I don't find her like an intimidating person. I feel like Mia Yim has got a great look. I suppose the same could be said about Candice LeRae as well. European uppercut by Tegan Nox, Chelsea Green on the outside. LeRae colliding it. Chelsea Green now goes down. So the three faces working together here. Cannonball, Dakota Kai getting battered in the corner at the moment. Candice getting thrown into Dakota Kai. Io Shirai comes crashing down from the sky. Face first goes Candice LeRae. Io to the outside. Days, hopefully NXT doesn't get ahead. I think it will, bud. I think it will. But I won't give any results away. So, Robert Stone is now helping Chelsea Green. He's setting up a ladder. Io Shirai has grabbed her own ladder. In fact, I think Robert Stone's got a table by the looks of it. Over on AEW, Britt Baker locking up with Hikaru Shida. Chelsea Green and Robert Stone on the outside have got a table. In the ring, we've got Candice LeRae and Io Shirai. Io getting picked up. No. Managing to block it. There's a ladder down. Inzaguri. Hello to Jeremy. Hope you are well. Tegan Nox is not supposed to be scary. She is a face. It was just the way that Dakota Kai kind of backed up then. And she kind of bumped into Tegan Nox. And kind of that spot, you would want like someone like Nia Jax there. Do you know what I mean? That was the point I was making. It was the way that in that moment, Dakota Kai had Candice LeRae and Mia Yim in front of her. And she's kind of backing away from them, but she bumps into someone. And I was just looking at it, I was like, if I turned around and saw Tegan Nox, I wouldn't be intimidated. Like, that spot, I think they had the wrong person. I think Mia Yim should have been behind. I feel like Mia Yim looks a bit more intimidating than Tegan Nox. Britt Baker going for the pin on AEW. Tegan and Dakota trading shots in the ring. Nice kick to the face by Dakota. Headbutt by Tegan. Forearm strike. Days, is NXT TakeOver Tampa. TKG, shout out to you. Oh, big kick by Dakota Kai. Well, kind of. You're getting two of the matches. You had one last week. And I would imagine that there'll be more to come. Choke slam by Tegan. So, Chelsea Green trying to put a ladder into the ring. Chelsea Green going into the barricade. I hear China is ending the lockdown in their country. Well, that's positive news, isn't it? That's good. Eric? Tegan and Dakota are feuding. There's kind of a feud going on between them. It's kind of like a never-ending feud, isn't it? I'm not sure that they're still kind of having matches against each other. But yeah, there's certainly no love lost between the two with their history. Kai gets pulled off the ladder, hits the ladder face first. You've got Candice the one side of the ladder. Tegan Knox the other, but they now get attacked. Shout out to Magic Lopez. Am I ahead again? Okay, well, if I am ahead again, all I'm going to say is I'm still going to call the action, but I'm not going to tell you who wins. So you don't need to worry about spoilers. But I can't just ignore NXT. So I'll still talk about what's happening, but I won't give away the actual result. The commercial was there. Well, we didn't get... That's where the commercial is normally put in then. We're quite fortunate here in the UK where we haven't gone to commercial. We're underway with the action here. Mia Yim with kick to the face of Candice. So, as I've said, I'm not going to give away the results, so you haven't got to worry about that. Chelsea Green with a chair. It's a no disqualification match. They can't send anyone to the back because there are no rules. I feel like they can still make it so that people can't be at ringside. I don't understand why there's people at ringside. I understand what you're saying, there's no DQ, so there's nothing stopping anyone running down to the ring, but I don't understand why the referees still aren't kicking people from ringside. It's kind of like with the second TLC match at WrestleMania 17. Each of those teams had someone, like an extra person, on their team. So, wasn't it Lita with the Hardys and Spike Dudley with the Dudley Boys and Rhino with Edge and Christian, was it? I might have got them the wrong way round. But, yeah, I remember those three. We watched WrestleMania 17 the other day. So, those three were involved, but they weren't there the whole time. Yes, they came running down and they interfered, but they weren't there throughout the whole match. I just kind of feel like it takes away from it. It gives Dakota Kai like an unfair advantage. It gives Chelsea Green an unfair advantage. I'm not too sure why NXT management allow it. We're at commercial break here in the UK on both now, so now I do have a commercial break. Archie says, have you got any merch on the way? No, I haven't got anything new. Still just the same shirts. Still just selling those. Ben says, Days, if you was a wrestler, would you prefer to be a heel or a face? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't care, to be honest. I'd rather be safe. That's what I'd rather be. I'd rather just be safe. I don't care if I'm a heel or a face. I'd rather just not compete. Days, can you look creepily into the camera? No. Jericho is killing it on commentary. I always have to have that turned down, unfortunately, for copyright reasons. But that's no great surprise. He's always a very good promo. So, yeah, I can believe that. So, shout out to Negative Zero. Days, do you think The Undertaker will retire at Survivor Series? I feel like it's quite close, Jerry. Although, I hope that the Boneyard match might give him a new lease of life. I really think that Boneyard match is such an important thing for them to have done, because surely they're seeing the positive reaction. And it's got to have got the creative juices flowing, you know? I do feel like they could do that match, Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. They could do similar. They could do Undertaker Sting, similar. You could do another Undertaker Kane, similar. Not all Boneyard. I'm not saying it's all got to be Boneyard, but I'm saying that kind of off-site film fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see value in it. So, yeah, I really hope that they kind of learn from it. Right, we're back with AEW. We've got Shida in the ring with Britt Baker. Britt Baker rolling Shida up. Shida getting her shoulder up, and absolutely lovely choke. Armbar as well. Yeah, she is trying to get over to the ropes at the moment, Britt Baker, but she's in a bit of trouble here. She's got a triangle, and she's got hold of the arms. And she has got over to the ropes. So, Britt was in real trouble there. Hikaru with some great submission holds. Vape Ross Vape says, Days, give me a hug. There you go. There you go, Vape Ross, mate. Right, we're back with NXT as well. Just a reminder that I'm not going to give away any spoilers if we have fallen out of sync. And again, we've got Raquel Gonzalez getting involved and Robert Stone's getting involved as well. So it is taken away from the match for me. I'd love to say that this is like a 5-star match, whatever, but I do find this quite annoying. Raquel Gonzalez helping Dakota Kai back into the ring. And now Raquel Gonzalez, why doesn't she just climb up? Why doesn't she just climb up for her? Chris Dizuba says, we need a Wrestling Days coffee mug. In fact, I think she is. She's got Dakota Kai on her shoulders, and I think she's going to climb up for her with Dakota Kai, so that I think Dakota Kai can just grab the briefcase. And Mia Yim stopping that. Nice snapmare by Britt Baker. Looking for a bank statement. Looking for the rings of Saturn. Over to the ropes, though, Hikaru Shida. Big strikes in the corner by Mia Yim. You think you know me, says Nigel Drinkwater. Shahib said, what former star would you bring back to WWE besides CM Punk? Mine is Evan Bourne or Matt Sydal. Can I say AJ Lee if I can't say CM Punk? All Tegan Nox does is choke slams. That's literally all she does. She's on the top now, looking to do another choke slam. Forearm strike by Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai going over, looking for a big boot. Hits that big boot, and wow. Tegan Nox goes through a ladder on the outside. Still underway. Nice super kick by Britt Baker. Candice trying to climb up the ladder in the ring. Candice LeRae trying to grab IRS's briefcase. Oh, briefcase gets slammed in the face of Dakota Kai. Io Shirai is here. I'd love for Io to win it, but I can't imagine Io versus Charlotte. Lovely German. Lovely German. Big scream by Io. Misses the kick. Now nice German by Candice. Anything you can do, I can do better. I really like Candice LeRae and Io Shirai. Britt Baker with a roll-up. Only gets a 2 over on AEW. Lovely roll through. Good women's match over on AEW. Some lovely transitions. And we've got blood coming down the nose of Britt Baker. 1, 2. Baker has got a broken nose. I don't know if it's a broken nose. It's a blooded nose. Here we go. Shida. So Robert Stone is on top of that ladder. He's trying to help Chelsea Green up. I got to tell you, I really think the outside interference is ruining that ladder match for me. So I'm finding myself actually watching this more. Kick to the face by Britt Baker. There's real drama with AEW and the nose as well. And the blood that's coming down the nose of Britt Baker. She's got a big smile on her face. She's laughing her head off as the blood is pouring down her nose. And she's making Shida bite on that bottom rope. Yeah, she's going to try and stomp down, but she couldn't quite get it. Love that Shida got away. Shida hurling Britt to the outside. Over on NXT, we got Io and Candice, both at the top of the ladder, trading blows back and forth. Baker is pulling the Baszler look. It's got a little bit of Becky Lynch about it, you know, from Survivor Series. The way she would look down the camera, she like had a big smile on her face, and she was like laughing her head off. Very, very much reminded me of Becky Lynch. Kairi Shida on the middle rope. And Candice, oh, nasty bump. Nasty, nasty bump for Candice LeRae. Oh, that was nasty. That was nasty. Over on AEW, we've got Britt Baker. This match is still going on. Kairi Shida jumping up. Days, what do you think is going to happen with Eric Young and EC3? I honestly don't know. I mean, I'd imagine they're just seeing their contracts out. I can't imagine they're best pleased with how they've been used. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. Oh my god, is this match ever going to end? It is long. I have been enjoying this this match though. Nice knee. 1, 2, 3, and Hikaru Shida gets the win. Shida gets the victory over Britt Baker, a blooded Britt Baker. That was a battle. Chris Jericho says she might be in a little bit of shock right now. This is getting onto Orton Edge territory. Shout out to Magic Lopez. C Wrestling, shout out to you, says Eric Young is now a full-time agent for... I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. Very cool. Nigel Drinkwater says Johnny says that after the match, Ciampa should go to Raw. Well, you know that's our main event tonight. Blackheart versus Rebel Heart. One final beat. Michael Nakazawa and Kenny Omega. The real mean girl, Danny Jordan, we saw her on NWA, is on the face side of the crowd on AEW. I hope she has a match. I have not seen her in the crowd, but she has appeared on AEW before. So it doesn't surprise me if they've called her up. She might have a match on Dark or something, but she has actually faced Nyla Rose before, Danny Jordan. So she's kind of in with AEW. She actually, do you know why she's in with AEW? She actually does DDP yoga, but I think she goes to the studio to do it with DDP. Oh, Orange is here. Orange Cassidy's here. Best friends have arrived. You guys think you're better best friends than the best friends? I think we've got best friends versus Omega and Shida. Moda says, Days, I'm having a ham sandwich, orange, and a bag of Cheetos. All I wanted was Mexican food. Hashtag quarantine sucks. Also, would you ever do a movie watch-along of No Holds Barred? It would be awesome. I find things like that very difficult to do because you have to kind of stop and listen to the dialogue because obviously there's a whole storyline when it comes to films. So I find that quite difficult. So to tell the truth, probably not. Probably not. I would find movie watch-alongs difficult. Wrestling is quite easy because you don't necessarily need the commentary. You're watching the action in the ring. So wrestling is quite easy to do watch-alongs for, but I think movies would be very, very difficult. It's why, like, I never did a watch-along for the Hall of Fame. Because I think that would be difficult as well. They're just showing us on NXT UK. Because obviously the ladder match has finished. I'm not going to say who won in case you haven't got there yet. I think for me the ladder match was not as great as I hoped. I think it had some nice moments, but I've definitely seen better ladder matches. There were still some nice spots in it. I'm going to give credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. They're just showing us Finn Balor on NXT UK. Imperium getting involved. AEW is just at commercial break right now. Days, would you like a Mattel figure of you? No. No. I wouldn't. Shout out to... Who asked that question? Archie. Shout out to you, buddy. Brent says, AEW is definitely funny. I thought they were going to be sports-based. It's sure funny. Even that Kenny Omega skit was hilarious. They are definitely the funnier of the two shows, yes. So, Balor versus Alexander Wolf, 1-on-1. I don't know if they're giving us this full match. Are they on NXT? Or just the end of the match? Or I don't know what I'm watching. I'm watching Finn Balor versus Alexander Wolf, but it's from NXT UK. So, I think there's a little bit of time killing here on NXT. Little bit of time killing. I'm having the Corona. Very cool. Big boy Jose says, Days, I want Drew versus Volta. I want that. I want that as well. Yes. William Hensey, shout out to you. Wrestling Days fan, shout out to you. Wrestling Days fan says, I was expecting more from that ladder match. Yeah, boy says, EO has won. Okay, cool. So you guys have caught up as well. Yeah, well, let's talk about it then. Very surprised that EO won that, because I can't imagine EO versus Charlotte, and also I can't imagine EO winning, and EO is someone that I would like to see become champion, so as pleased as I am that EO won, I'm a little bit worried for that match. That means now we get Io Shirai versus Charlotte, which is going to be a brilliant match, but I can't see EO winning. Plus that's going to be heel versus heel, so... I don't understand that match either. I don't know. It is what it is. The ladder match was alright. It wasn't a bad match at all. But I do agree. I was just expecting maybe a little bit more. And as I said, I think the outside interference kind of took away from it for me. I wanted it to be an even contest. And even if it's not DQ, surely there's some way that they can prevent people from being at ringside. I understand you can't prevent people running in, but it can't be right that people are allowed to just stand at ringside throughout the whole match. That cannot be right. We've got a rankings report on AEW. We're done with that little NXT UK recap. We've got Finn Balor promo now. So they're still pushing ahead with Balor and Volta. What have we got now on... I think we've just got a little video package on AEW. Sheena versus Baker was awesome. Baker was bleeding. WFS Wrestling, I agree. I thought it was a good match. Thought that was a good match. And I thought the blood really added to it. But there was some lovely wrestling in there as well. Some lovely transitions and submission holds and things. So, yeah, very good. Tag team division. So, the number one contenders are the Dark Order have got a 5-0 record so far. That new tag team as well, the Indian guys, that I really like the look of. Charlotte is both a heel and a face. Says, yeah, boy. Days, do you think that Gentleman Jervis will join AEW? I think you'd probably have to look at it and say that Simon Miller might be the front runner. There was probably more hype around him than around anyone else, but personally I would be giving it to Gentleman Jervis. Indus Sher up next. The in-ring debut of Indus Sher. Okay, I'm down with it because I really like the team. I know that they looked a little bit green in ring, but well, now we'll see if they are green or not. Indus Sher, I like it. So they're showing us the rankings. The number one contender is Jake Hager in Dustin versus... Don't know. We'll have to wait and see who they're facing. Boom. Heyday, shout out XDX47X. Shout out to you. Jody Gilly, hope you are well. Hope you had a good birthday the other day and you've recovered from the Firefly Funhouse and the Great Abby's Window as well that was on Monday. Jody says we're now under a tornado warning. Oh my god. Just as I said, I hope everything was well, and it is non-stop, isn't it, round your way with everything that's going on. Our sirens are going off. Wow. I hadn't heard that there was a tornado threat. Where are you, Jody? Where is this tornado warning? Shout out to you anyway. Stay safe. I don't know what... Do you have bunkers? Do you go underground? Have you got, like, a safe room? Do you go in the basement? I don't know what they recommend for a tornado. I'm sure you know. Yeah, I not that you need advice from me. As you know, we don't tend to get them here in the UK. But stay safe. Oh, if it's not one thing, it's another. Days, we had a crowd at NXT UK. Why is that? It's because it's old footage. Old footage. They're not even allowed to tape at the moment here in the UK. Moda says, Days, are there any businesses that you want to join the stream? Businesses you want to join the stream? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean, Moda. Any businesses? What do you mean? What are you on about? Have you lost your mind? Henry's Wrestling says, Jody Gilly, stay safe. So does famous KJ. I do love that. And Sonny Wolf. I do love that about our community. Genuinely looking out for each other. So, yes, I echo the words of the community. Stay safe. And that goes to all of you as well. Make sure that you're staying safe. Not just with tornadoes, but obviously there's a lot of threats out there. So, stay safe. That's why I enjoy doing these streams. I know that this Wednesday night stream is a different one. We've said it many, many times. And, I hope that message really comes across. That these are different streams. But because obviously we have to talk about two shows. We have to talk a lot about wrestling. But it is great to see so many people joining us on a Wednesday. And we've still got that big match to come. Ciampa versus Gargano. Jody, you don't have to keep donating money, my friend. Just drop your thoughts in. Just drop your comments in. Jody says, I'm on the south side of Indianapolis. We get Harry Potter-style cupboards under the stairs, so we're all good. So you're, like, in the cupboard under the stairs? Wow. Look, cool. Stay safe. Apparently that's, like, a really safe place to be, isn't it, because of how it's all built and everything. So cool, stay safe. We've got a Killer Cross promo, nothing that we've not seen before, but there is excitement for him. Over on AEW, we've got Jake Hager just working out, and we're just seeing the Lucha van, the van of Luchas stealing people. There was Raul Mendoza, was it, being stolen? Yeah. Who else got stolen? Raul Mendoza got stolen. Someone else got stolen. They weren't done. Whack Him Wild was the other victim. So Raul Mendoza, Whack Him Wild. I forgot about the Lucha van. I love that Lucha van just going around stealing people, converting them to Lucha ways. Here we go, look, Bivens Enterprises. I was going to say, I don't like this music, but I like this music. Okay, let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. Rinku. Bearded Behemoths. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I feel like I must have. If you've got Disney Plus, there's a film called $1 Million Arm, and it's all about a competition to find like a new baseball star. And Disney made a film about it because who they found was an Indian guy who apparently can pitch the ball at like 90 plus miles an hour. And he got signed to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it's kind of like this rags to riches story. Well, the guy that did that won that, is in the ring right now. I believe he is the smaller of the two. So there is a Disney movie about one of these guys. Their entrance music's okay. It's pretty generic, to be honest. It's just like... I mean, literally, that's about it. Ever Rise on the way out. I can't remember who they... I have seen them before, but I can't remember who they are. Jobbers. That's what they are. Jobbers. Okay, so Indus Sher versus Ever Rise. I'm not sure about the name. I'm not sure about their music, but I do really like their look. And they're taking on Ever Rise. Jody, stay safe. Yep. The Hubs is at church preparing for Easter. Nigel Drinkwater says Blackheart versus Rebel Heart won last time. Triple H says once it's over, it is over. An Indian baseball player. Just the one guy, yeah. The other guy I think did like Bollywood films. So the one guy has come from acting, and the other guy has come from baseball. And they've both been at the Performance Center since 2018. And now this is our first chance to see them in action. I like it. I like how he's inviting him into the ring. He's like, bye, Baba. And he's saying, step in. He wants him to step up. Goes for a big strike. Days, why don't you wear headphones so that you can hear commentary? Because I've got two things I'm having to watch. I'm having to watch NXT, and it's on a TV. So, I mean, I don't think I could even get Bluetooth headphones because I'm not sure this TV is like a smart TV with Bluetooth. So, I don't think there's a way that I could even wear headphones for that. I could probably wear headphones for AEW, but to be honest, I never feel like I'm missing out. There's very rarely do I need to listen to commentary. Nice, Albert. I tell you what, Everrise are doing all right. The Wrestling Dude. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to Wrestling Dude. Thank you very much, my friend. Henry's Wrestling says, my TV just stopped. Well, I'm at commercial for AEW at the moment. Days, do you plan on doing YouTube for your entire life? Dude, I have no idea what I'm doing next week, let alone my entire life. So I have no long-term plans like that. But all I know is that I really enjoy doing the watch-alongs because I get the value of them because I'm someone that definitely would have appreciated them like a few years ago before I was doing YouTube. So, yeah, I definitely understand that there's a lot of people that watch wrestling on their own. Like me, I have to watch wrestling on my own. So that's why I love doing them. So that I don't watch wrestling on my own. I get your thoughts about wrestling and I can share mine as well. And you've got the whole chat that you can share your thoughts with. So, yeah, I very much love doing these. So I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. But I wouldn't want to commit to my entire life because I just don't know. Over on AEW, I think they've really struggled to film a lot of matches because what we've actually got is we've got Cody promo now. So we had a Jake Hager promo. We had a Jake the Snake promo at the start. And now we've got Shawn Spears and Cody promos. Obviously, this is going to lead into a match. So I would imagine that's the next match. These Indian guys seem pretty decent. I can't say there's anything that spectacular they've got a good look. And they're, brawling all right. They're putting a match together all right, but I can't say I've seen anything that's necessarily blown my mind so far. But, I mean, in fairness, they are just starting out. Jody says, big news. We're going to interview Jason Baker on Saturday. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Those big names still keep rolling in. So, yeah, very, very cool. So, there we go. Keep an eye on the Insiders. We keep shouting about Insiders and all the interviews that they're doing. And they've got another big name there in Jason Baker that they're going to be doing an interview with. Obviously, Jason Baker, all part of the Fiend universe as well, same as Kyle. Yeah, very cool. Very cool, Jody. So, yeah, if you're not subscribed to Insiders, that is our community podcast. So make sure that you're jumping over there and checking out their interviews and sending your thoughts. I thought that the Insiders episode that aired after Raw was brilliant. It was like a rundown of WrestleMania, and it had so much of your stuff in it. I mean, like, honestly, every time someone gets a shout out, I tend to type it in the chat. It was all I was doing. Shout out, mention, Twitter mention, things on screen, all this kind of stuff. So you guys really sent your thoughts to them, and they really mentioned you lot. So if you've not seen that video, the latest episode, then check it out. So shout out to Jody. Rusty Shackelford. I've given up. Tell him. I mean, not that I can ever tell Rusty what to do, but I have requested many times that Rusty not donate this kind of money, these kind of donations. But there we go. Greatly appreciated with Jody and all of her support. In fact, I'm gonna thank Jody at the bottom, because Jody has sent tons of donations in. Thank you, Jody Gilly, as well. There we go. So boom. So yes, shout out to all of you. Rusty says, Days, do you need a new TV? Just say so. I don't need a new TV, buddy. The TV is absolutely fine. The support's massively appreciated, though. Obviously, we've had data issues, so that's where the money has been going for this month. We've been putting it towards data so that the streams can keep going. So, yeah, no, we do not need any more. We're totally fine. We're totally on top of it all. But yeah, just a big thank you to that. I like to let you know where that money goes. So, right, where are we building towards? So, shout out to Rusty. No one tells Rusty what to do. Where are we? We've got 12 minutes till we're at the halfway point, and then I'll get your halftime scores. Right, over here we've got Best Friends versus Nakazawa. Looks like we're going to revisit WrestleMania. We're going to revisit Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. Little shot of Full Sail. Cruiserweight Championship Tournament starts next week. Cruiserweight Championship Tournament begins next week. So, again, look, aerial shot of, you can see Full Sail, all of Full Sail where NXT is recorded. Very cool. When I went to Florida at the end of 2018, I made sure that I went to Full Sail. I couldn't get inside because, sadly, they were filming NXT the week after I left. So there was no, you couldn't go in. Yeah, very, very, very cool just to go. There's a video on the channel of me at Full Sail. Jody says, fair warning, I was on Instagram Live with Jesse Cage last night. When we do his interview, it's gonna need a disclaimer. He loves colourful language. Oh, wow, there we go. Shout out to Jody. Yeah, that's, I mean, we all heard the Holidead interview, so I don't think it's going to be a massive problem. The only issue when it comes to swearing in videos is obviously, like, you sometimes have to put on, if it's really bad, the age restriction. And once you put that on, YouTube won't recommend those videos, and those videos don't tend to do as well. I kind of feel like the Holidead interview would have done better if the age restriction thing hadn't been turned on. So it's just something to bear in mind, you know. It is what it is. You've got to let people be themselves. But yeah, it is what it is. Over on NXT, they're just showing a replay. Thankfully, it's just the highlights of Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. And on AEW, we're underway with Best Friends versus Nakazawa and Omega. Dusty Rhodes' Mixing Bowl Emporium says, just thought I'd drop in and say hello. Love you days. Now off to buy a freaking mixing bowl because Dusty says so. Use code American Dream at check. If you didn't see yesterday's NWA stream, then that'll be lost on you. But it was random with a capital R, let me tell you. Full on random stream. That's what we had yesterday. I must mention as well, I had an email from WWE earlier today, and they didn't say this was the reason, but I'm pretty sure it is. I think you guys have been absolutely battering that days code, days 20, because they got in touch to say that they were going to have to tweak it. So now I think you get like 20 pounds or euros off when you spend 100. So it is still 20%, but I think now they've added that like £100 minimum spend. I think it's because like there must have been so many. In fairness, I have had a lot of people saying, you know, I really appreciate it. I've just picked up this T-shirt, or I've just got this belt, or I've just got this hoodie, or I've just got this whatever. So obviously we were shouting about that all over the WrestleMania weekend. Seems like loads of you used it, and seems like WWE have had to tweak it now. So still works. But yeah, I think you have to spend $100 now. Rhea Ripley backstage, and she's very emotional. Tears in her eyes here. Rhea Ripley says she was a lot better than I expected. Very upset, Rhea Ripley. That was it. She was a lot better than I expected. Still to come, Blackheart versus Rebel Heart. One final beat. Kenny. Days. Drew said that he wants to push for a UK pay-per-view. Good. Right, we've got the van. Is this a car? Is this Charlotte? No, it's Johnny. Johnny arriving with Candice. This must have been earlier today. Doesn't say earlier today. Is it happening now, is it? It says hashtag Ciampa versus Gargano. Candice has got out the car in a wrestling attire. No, just a wrestling top, is it? Fair play. I was going to say, what, does she drive in a wrestling gear? Yeah, this looks like it's been taped, and she is... What's she giving him? Something in a bag. She's giving him something in a bag. She jumps in the car and she drives off. So Candice drives away. Gargano. So are we getting this match now? Is this a thing? Oh, Triple H is in the ring. This is sick, man. Triple H is in the ring, just in a chair, slumped in the corner. He's like the Godfather. So this is a different space. I don't know what this is, but there's an NXT ring in a warehouse. Triple H says, right, guys, you're right on time. So Triple H's got a chair. Starts in this ring. It ends in this ring. Are they going to go for an hour? I don't care what you do. But when it's done, it's done. Drake's here to officiate. So there is a ref there. Just here to... Right, love it. I am into this. I am so on board. So on board. Love the music. Great music in the background. So, again, I'm not going to be spoiling anything. I'm not going to be giving you any results. So, you haven't got to worry about that. How the hell spell Ciampa? So, there's a chair in the middle of the ring. Gargano and Ciampa standing. Look, the camera panning around the ring. We're getting very different shots. Ciampa kicks the chair away. You don't win. Not tonight. Boom. And shots being fired. We're underway. So this has got like a movie. It has got another movie cinematic feel to it. Into the corner. Up. Over the top. I mean, look. They're doing something different because there's no crowd. They are being forced into this. To the outside. Goes for a knee. Oh, top rope enziguri by Johnny. I don't know how this is going to be graded, though. I don't know if they're going to score this as a proper match. Commercial break. Vape Ross Vape says, the little lady in the kitchen loves the sausage. Hello. I bet she does. I bet she does. Again, you're not going to know what that means if you didn't watch last night's stream. But it was sexist to the max. Not me. Wasn't my fault. Blame the 1970s. Right, we're at commercial break. So that match has started, Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, I'm guessing not our main event. We've got Nakazawa trying to get the pin on the best friends. Days, have a 10-day streak. What? Have a 10-day streak stream. I mean, I don't even know how many days we're on. Because didn't we do what? We did WrestleMania 32. Then we did Raw. Then we did NWA. Then we did NXT. Then we did WrestleMania 17. Then we did SmackDown. Then we did WrestleMania Day 36 Day 1. WrestleMania 36 Day 2. Then we did Raw. Then we did... Yeah. This is day 11. This is day 11? Day 11. Crazy. Cray. Loved it, though. Days, don't be alarmed if you feel a light scratching on your head. It's just me. Thanks for the heads up, Swamp Manor. Madupt says, it's crazy how far ahead Days is. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I mean, in all fairness, this must be the main event. It looks like this last match is going to go for 40-odd minutes. They tend to end, don't they, here in the UK, like, early now, which is really, really annoying. But, as I said, I'm not going to give away who wins. I didn't tell you who won the ladder match. I didn't tell you won't tell you who's going to win this. Gargano Ciampa is going to be a long fight / match. It is next. I can tell you the start is really cool. I love Triple H in the ring. He's in a chair in the corner. And it's got like some nice music in the background. The only problem is when the fight starts, it does look very cinematic. There are multiple camera shots and I don't know, it doesn't feel like a wrestling match. It feels like you're watching the Boneyard match. And I don't know that I would have gone that way for Gargano and Ciampa. I don't know that I would have gone that way. I think AEW is going to struggle against this, though. We are back. And Ciampa's got a chair. Johnny with a low blow. Big kick. Chomper swears and they bleep it out again. I'm not going to give you the result. Orange Cassidy in the ring. Here we go. Look, Omega and Nakazawa go for a hug on Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy ducks out the way. You're going to be finished way before us. Yeah. I tend to when it comes to NXT. Our feeds are in sync. No ads in the UK, so Days is going to be ahead again. Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to know what to do because I can't be in sync with everyone. Anyone that's joining us in the UK is going to be in line with where I am. But anyone that's joining us from America or Canada is going to be out of sync with where we are. So I think the fairest thing I can do is just watch it, talk about like the key bits in it, and not spoil the result. Johnny is hurling Tommaso's leg around the ring post right now. So Ciampa to the outside. What is Triple H doing there? I think he was there just to kind of announce it. This is a big fight. I mean, if you think about this rivalry, this is one of the all-time great NXT rivalries. So I feel like it needed Triple H there. You know, this is very unusual circumstances for them to set a ring up in a completely different space just to do this match. These two trashed the Performance Center. They're not in Triple H's good books. There's quite a lot of toys around ringside as well. I'm seeing like a cherry picker. I'm seeing bins and tables and weapons, and there's definitely things for them to play around with in there. Gargano gets slammed into that ring post. It's got quite a slow pace to it at start, Phil, because this match is definitely going to go half an hour, 40 minutes. Ciampa now has grabbed a table. He's dragging the table over. Don't forget, they've been told when it's done, it's done. Triple H gonna reward a true warrior, says John Carter. Henry's Wrestling says, half my house is pitch black. Thank God for the man who created generators. Days, how long will you continue the stream after the show ends? Probably about half an hour. There's no Thunder Rosa stream tonight. I know we normally stick around for that. She's actually moved it to a Thursday now, so. Ciampa is down on the outside, and Gargano patting himself on the back. We are at the halfway point. I'm just going to ask you now to get your scores in. I can't really wait for ad breaks because I don't know when you're at an ad break and when I'm at an ad break, and nothing's syncing up. So might as well just ask you for your halftime scores. Let me know what you think of AEW. What do you think of NXT at the halfway point? We're kind of maybe past the halfway point for me. I don't know. But get your scores in for both shows. Cross has got to interfere, says Chalmers. Mohammed says, Days, what do you think of Lance Archer joining NXT? Well, it's not going to happen. He's on AEW, isn't he? So I don't see it happening. I would like NXT to sign Davey Boy Smith Jr. I think he could bring a lot to NXT UK. The son of the British Bulldog. Trash can getting used by Johnny Gargano. I haven't watched either, says Huskus is a legend. 8 for what, John Elite? 8 for NXT, 8 for AEW, 8 for both. What's an 8? What are you giving an 8 to? Nakazawa's taking off what? His jock strap, is he? What's going on here? He's trying to use it as like a mandible claw. Ugh. Both for 6, says Big Boy Jose. Josh says, man, this is crazy. AMBNS says NXT 7. AEW 8. William Hensey says AEW 4. NXT 6. Zach says NXT 7. AEW D. What's a D? A D out of 10. Doppelganger says 6.5 for AEW. Good but not great. Blue and White Army says NXT 6.5. Kate Thompson says NXT 6, AEW 8. Wolfie3267 says AEW 6, NXT 7.5. Ben Russell says NXT an 8. Can't score AEW because I don't watch it until Friday. Fair play. Revelation says NXT 6, AEW 8. I do think the best match I've seen so far tonight was Shida versus Britt Baker. I do think that's been the best match. And I've got to be honest, the presentation of this Ciampa Gargano, I find it a bit... I don't know. I understand why they're doing it. Gargano says, I'm starting to feel a little bad, but there's a smile on his face. He says, don't worry, it's not going to last much longer. They really are trying to give you some different camera angles. Like, you were right there then as Gargano puts a chair in between the ropes in the corner. Like, the camera's right there. You can see the chair being, like, placed right in front of your eyes. Oh! Gargano goes into that chair hard. Best friends with the victory on AEW as we go to commercial break. Yeah, I'm not sure this Gargano Ciampa is going to be quite what people are expecting. Quite what people were hoping for. But, I mean, look, you can't criticize because there's no crowds and they're doing the best they can. Daze, can I ask, would you like to see Joe Hendry and Will Ospreay in NXT? Sure. Yeah, sure. I don't know that Ospreay in particular would go. I feel like he is someone that really loves and appreciates Japan and being in Japan. So, yeah, I'm not sure that I could see him joining anytime soon. Maybe eventually, but not anytime soon. We've got Brody Lee on AEW. He's really gone a different way, hasn't he, with his character? He's gone from being a slob with dirty shirts all the time. Now he's wearing suits all the time. Daze, what if Jake Hager beats Moxley for the title and then defends it against Brody Lee? Wouldn't that be two heels? I mean, not that it seemingly matters because we're getting Io Shirai versus Charlotte, but yeah, I just can't quite get my head around two heels facing each other. It's not something that they tend to do. It has happened. Of course it's happened. Brody Lee on AEW is just having words with a couple of the creepers because their shirts are creased. Over on NXT, Ciampa in control. Switchblade should go to AEW. Well, there's big rumors about the relationship between New Japan and AEW. If that comes off, AEW really then go to a next level. No doubt about that. AEW really go to the next level. Days, if Cross gets involved, I won't like it because no one is meant to know where they are because they're in an enclosed secret location. That's a good point, Liam. I feel like Killer Cross, though, if he needs information, he can get information, you know? I just don't really want Cross to get involved because this should be the end of Ciampa versus Gargano. This, you know, it's been a long road. They pretty much gave a whole episode to telling the backstory on this to build up to this match. Some lovely callbacks. Gargano's got that crutch. He's got the crutch over the throat of Johnny. Kick from Ciampa. Days, I felt them putting ads on NXT. I feel them putting ads on NXT ruins the whole movie feel. Yeah, I understand that, Conzams. It's a shame because had this have been at TakeOver, it would have been on the network. I don't understand why they haven't put this on the network, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? They could have put this on the network. They could have given you the build and this match. I feel like they could have given you an hour special. Ciampa versus Gargano. The final beat special or something like this, you know? An NXT special presentation. And then that way it wouldn't have had to have had the adverts. I wonder if they're giving you this because of AEW, because they're under pressure to give you this match on network TV. Because I agree. Powerbomb through a table by Ciampa. So there's been a few weapons used. Io Shirai versus Charlotte. Yes. Dace, do you think anyone on the main roster will drop down? I'm not sure I don't think it is dropping down anymore. Because I think as soon as it went onto network TV, it became the third brand. Now, yes, they are still bringing new talent through NXT because that is still part of its purpose. But I think it has evolved. I think it is now genuinely the third brand. And, it's on network TV. Any casual fan can watch it. You haven't got to buy the network or anything like that. So it makes sense to have people like Charlotte and Finn Balor on the show. So yes, to answer your question, I could see some people going down. And I said ages ago, if you've been watching these watch-alongs for a while, you'll know that I said, might even have been last year, that Daniel Bryan needs to go to NXT. I think Daniel Bryan has done pretty much all he can on like SmackDown and Raw. You know, is he really going to go after the title again? I felt that he needed to work with the young talent, and look what they've got him doing. He's partnered up with Drew Gulak now. He's working with young talent, or up-and-coming talent. Ciampa is exposing the boards of the ring. It's always cool when they do that so that you can see what the ring looks like. He's undressing the ring. It's getting a bit kinky. I'm sick of the lies. So here we go. Look, the ring is being ripped apart. Wow, there's Britt Baker backstage. All the blood coming down her nose. Britt Baker. Britt Baker says that Hikaru Shida is the dirtiest wrestler she's ever competed against. Britt Baker says she is a dentist. She really is. Keith Lee versus Samoa Joe. That would be awesome. I tell you what, a door has just opened, and there's a sign up there. They're still at Full Sail. They're still at Full Sail. That's where this has been filmed. That was a Full Sail sign, I'm sure. I'm sure that was a Full Sail flag. So now we know where the secret location is. A Performance Center truck. I don't think it's the Performance Center. I think they're at Full Sail. Maybe in a different space at Full Sail, but I'm sure it's still Full Sail. So they're getting slammed face first into a truck. Big left hands by Johnny Gargano. They are outside now. Days, Bray has put out some cryptic tweets. I don't know if you saw them. Yeah, I did, yeah. Now Johnny has got that trunk, NXT trunk, ramming it into Gargano, but Gargano moves out the way. I think this was filmed in Full Sail. Also, I love the fact there's no barricade. There's not really a need for a barricade, is there? The barricade's there to kind of separate the wrestlers from the fans. I don't actually think about it. I don't even know why there's a barricade on Raw and SmackDown. I haven't really thought about that. That's a really good point. AEW is a 12, says Toy Bandit. Ciampa going on top of that trailer. I think, is Gargano going to go after him? We've got a little training montage with Jake Hager. Dana White is desperately trying to give us UFC 249. Yes. There's going to be like an island that it's going to be set on and everything, isn't it? And it's Tony Ferguson versus Gaethje now, which will be a great fight. And I think Rose is still going to be competing, so the card looks great. I've got no issue with it. I am down that it's not Khabib versus Ferguson, but... Right, they're now fighting on top of that trailer. This very much has got Edge and Orton vibes. Super kick. Big slaps. Big slaps coming in by Tommaso. Oh, super kick on top of that trailer by Johnny. Did you get donations from Simply Jack? Simply Jack? I don't remember reading or anything from Simply Jack. Moxley is New Japan US champion, says Jeremy. That's a good point, yeah. You never see the title, though, do you? Days, you barely pay attention to AEW right now. I have to have the sound turned down, so I can't pay attention to the promos so much. It's the same if you get long promos on NXT. I can't necessarily pay much attention to them, and AEW tonight has largely been promos. It's been a couple of matches. I feel like I paid... The problem was that when the women's match was on, the ladder match was on, and now when that last match, that tag match was on, it was the start of Ciampa versus Gargano, so it's kind of been a little bit difficult to pay attention to AEW tonight. I feel like there's not much action, and when there is, it's competing against two matches that would have been on TakeOver Tampa. But it's no knock of AEW, and actually we will be paying a lot of attention to AEW very soon, because up next we got Matt Hardy. Also coming up we got Brody Lee, and also we got Shawn Spears versus Cody. Obviously I'm ahead when it comes to NXT, so in about 10 minutes time I'm expecting NXT to finish for me, and then all of my attention will be on AEW. Days, I'm confused. Why is the ref up there? You can't win outside the ring. It makes no sense. I think it's false count anywhere. I mean, Triple H says when it's done, it's done. They've got a ring. They've got a whole empty space. They're fighting on the outside. I got to be honest, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not freaking out or losing my mind over the match. But I think it's really difficult for them as well, because there's no crowd, there's no atmosphere. They're trying to do trash talking. They can't necessarily get much of a rhythm going. I don't know. It's not appealing. It's not grabbing me. Hardy will come out next, says Big Boy Jose. Days, I think Gargano is going to win. Can I get a shout out? Shout out to Roberto Aguirre, is it? Aguirre. I've gone with that. Sonny Wolf, shout out to you, says my internet keeps screwing up. You always have trouble with your internet, don't you, bud? Days, when is UFC 249? Not this weekend, the weekend after. And very much looking forward to it. It's been a long time since we've watched UFC. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's not because Ciampa said you. It's not. Ciampa says you have to win in the ring. Okay, I didn't hear that. As I said, I have to have the sound down. Days, I think Killer Cross is going to show up. I think that you'll get Killer Cross, yeah. Probably right at the end. Like, whoever wins, you know, they've just managed to get past their greatest rival, and now here's Killer Cross. I could see it being something along those lines. Blue and White Army says, I think Gargano should have been called up Raw SmackDown ages ago. He should have gone to either. Well, I'm not sure he wants to. I don't know how much say he's got, of course. He doesn't necessarily get to choose, but yeah, he loves NXT. His wife is in NXT. His friends are in NXT. I think. Do you know what? I think there's been a real change, because when you was in NXT before, your dream was waiting for that call-up, wasn't it? Because basically, you wasn't on TV. You was only being watched on the network. You wanted to get called up, you know? You wanted to have your figure made and all this kind of stuff. Whereas, as NXT has grown in popularity, now, just being in NXT is good enough for you to get a figure made. So, Mattel will make your figure. WWE Shop will sell your shirts. And now, NXT is on USA. There's really very little need to get called up. And there's very little benefit. Maybe there's a pay rise. But there's a lot of extra work that comes with it as well. Matt Hardy is cutting a promo. Matt Hardy says that Sammy Guevara is a false god. We got mower of lawns in the background. Step of ladders. Right, this match continuing. It's gone back inside. Crossbody by Johnny. I'd imagine, as I said, 10 minutes or so left in this match. Days, Jim Gore, what's in chat saying... I doubt that, Cornelius. Days, I love the referee is wearing all black. Yeah, it does look cool in all black. Really good point, Ben Russell. It's been a fortnight since I've seen UFC, says Henry's Wrestling. It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while. Really missed it. I really do enjoy those Saturday night UFC streams. They're just something a little bit different. So, Matt Hardy calling Vanguard. Vanguard has got a Matt Hardy shirt. This match still going on. Days, I think they should call up Cassius Ohno because he's been in NXT since 2012. I don't know. He's struggling to connect, Cassius Ohno. He left NXT, so he's not been in NXT since 2012. He was in NXT, and then he got released for, I think, like... I don't know what it was. I'm not sure why he got released. Because he really was being pushed. When I was first watching NXT, he was the guy. He was the guy that was really being pushed. You had, like, Neville as champion, and... you know, Sami Zayn was feuding and whatever, but just underneath was like Cassius Ohno. He was having matches against William Regal. So, yeah, he was really getting pushed. And then he ended up getting released. And then they brought him back like a couple of years later. And now they just tend to use him to, like, you know, prepare people. Like, I think he's just had a feud with Tyler Bate. Or he's certainly had some matches with Tyler Bate. Do you know what's missing from Gargano Ciampa commentary? There's no commentary. There's just... You notice the lack of crowd? No, that's only just dawned on me. Oh, wow! That was cool. That was done really well. I know his name's Brody Lee, but I'll just quickly write the Exalted One. I think this guy's name's Johnson versus the Exalted One. Both Ciampa and Gargano are down out of the ring. I'm not going to say what happens, but there's a really great moment that you can tell was edited. Did you know, actually, that when Jimmy Uso goes to the outside during that ladder match at WrestleMania, he lands on a crash mat? There's a moment where he gets pushed to the outside and he goes down and he goes hard. And it's a nasty-looking moment. Shoulder up by Johnny. Yeah, it's a real nasty-looking moment. Apparently, there was a crash mat. The way it was shot was you see him kind of falling out the ring, but there was a crash mat there. Then they quickly remove it, and then the next camera just shows him lying on the floor. But he doesn't hit the floor. He actually hits a crash mat. Right, we've got a little promo here for Volta. Does that mean that Volta and Finn Balor's come in? Or is it just a promo for Imperium? Imperium. What is it? Oh, it's just an Imperium promotion. Right, Brody Lee. Brody Lee's ring attire just looks like something he would have wore in the Bludgeon Brothers. I kind of feel like he could have had something a little bit different. I think the Bludgeon Brothers had like a red kind of burgundy kind of colour scheme, whereas this is obviously black, but it's kind of similar to Bludgeon Brothers. WWE's next pay-per-view could have fans. I doubt it. It's going to be in the middle of May, so still about 4 weeks. So, I don't know, is this going to be sorted in 4 weeks' time? Honestly, I doubt it. Because even if it's all sorted, it's going to take a little time for them to allow big crowds again. Matt's promo was more interesting than Ciampa and Gargano. These promos are replacing ad breaks. Johnny has got the crutch. They are back into the ring. We've got to be towards the end of this. I really think this has lacked commentary. I think no crowd and no commentary hasn't necessarily helped this match. Because there's just been a lot of silence. It's a very, very weird presentation and one that hasn't quite hit with me. I feel like we've been robbed of a 5-star classic match. Because you know these two would have had one. Gargano really unloading on Ciampa. So, still both guys down. Brody Lee, match of the night. Yes. So, yeah, we've got about half an hour left of AEW. And I think we are getting towards the business end here of NXT. Blue Skies, shout out to you. Oh, nice kick by Johnny. Very weird. Very weird, this match. Coaster Maniacs says, I'm getting Last Man Standing vibes from this. Yeah. I mean, you've got to say the action, what they've actually done has been fine. I haven't got any issues with it. You know, they've fought in the ring, out the building, on top of the trailer. They've come back indoors. They've gone absolutely everywhere. There's Johnny saying to Ciampa, you're a failure. You're a failure as a husband. You're a failure as a father. Very personal. Laugh, he says, laugh. Ciampa is laughing. Ciampa is laughing at Johnny at the moment. Still hard to know which way this is going to go. I won't give you the result because I know that we're out of sync. It's still going. No one's won. But they're both brawling in the ring at the moment with the crutch, and there's nothing happening on AEW. We are over at commercial break on AEW, and Ciampa is going crazy with the crutch right now. He's going mental. Ciampa is losing his mind. He says, you wanted this. Days, the shake-up is surprising. New Zealand confirms 29 cases of coronavirus. That number is going down. The lockdown will likely go into next week. Schools are going to stay closed. Yes. Well, that's good if New Zealand look like they're on top of it. China look like they're on top of it as well. So there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. It's just that there's a few places that are kind of going through the worst of it at the moment. Right. We should be heading towards some action on AEW. We should be heading towards the end. Wow. Referee down. Referee down. Ref is down in Ciampa and Gargano. I don't know what that means because he seems out of it as well. Could this be like Killer Cross arriving and getting involved, or a little promo for Cody on AEW? So, what's he doing? Is he rolling him under the ring? They've wrecked that ring. They've absolutely wrecked it. The ring apron's been cut. The boards have been exposed. Draping DDT. But the ref's down. I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know who's going to get the win here, but they're showing that the referee is down. Ciampa could have got a 3 then. Ciampa could have won it. But he hasn't won it. This sucks. So weird to see Arn and Tully in AEW. Well, still down. After this, I've got some more assignments to finish. No rest day. No rest for the wicked. Again, just more promos at the moment on AEW. I mean, we've only got about 27 minutes to go. Tail of the tape. Nice super kick by Johnny Gargano. Match going longer than I was expecting. Big boot by Tommaso. We'll get Tully versus Arn. I'd be surprised if we did. Tully versus Arn versus Jake the Snake. Okay, who have we got coming out now? Is it Cody? Yeah. Candice has arrived. I thought she drove off. What if she turns on Johnny? That'd be amazing. What if it turns out she's been having an affair with Tommaso? Love it. Candice screaming for them to stop. No, this is... What are you doing? Stop ruining it! This is meant to be the end. Candice asking, who are you? I hate my husband. I don't know what's happening. Right, Cody on his way down. Shawn Spears, the perfect 10. I miss the crowd so much, it's not the same. Ciampa is dead. NXT has still got a few minutes left. Well, all I'm going to say is things are happening. Things are happening, and I really don't want to be ruining stuff, so I'm having to, like, watch stuff and, like, just, like... Shawn on the outside. Cody in the ring. Ciampa's going to win, and then Johnny will leave NXT. Well, I can tell you there's no winner yet. I can tell you there's no winner. Spoil it. I'm not spoiling anything. Days, when do you think lockdown in the UK will end? There's no way of knowing. Good few weeks. Apparently the football is meant to restart at the end of April, but they've already said they know it won't happen, so kind of gives you an idea. But I won't spoil it, but this is amazing, says Ben Russell. I think the end has definitely improved this a lot. The end has definitely improved this. I am looking forward to talking about this once we're all on the same page. Oh! Didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming. Oh, cheeky. Wow. Wow. He's going to win, but at what cost? He's going to win, but at what cost? One, two. Right, what I'm going to say is this. When we all get on the same page, someone has won. There is a definite winner. But at what cost? Is he a winner? He's the winner of the match. But is he the winner? Good end. Good end to the match. Good end to the match. Good end to the match. I really feel like the match needed commentary. So the match needed commentary. I've got a feeling I know what's about to happen here. So the match is over. Oh, I can't even say. Can't even say. There's some lights on in a car there. They've just gone walking. There's some lights on in the car. I don't know if that was Triple H outside in the car waiting or something. I had a feeling. I thought I knew what was going to happen, but it's not gone the way I thought, in all fairness. We've got Shawn Spears and Cody. And it fades to black. Right. I cannot wait to talk about that. The end is good. And I would say that it really leaves you thinking as to, like, the future. I don't think the match was all that. I think the match was all right. I think the match could have been done a little better, but the end is good. Enjoy it. I'm going to focus. I'm going to turn my attention to AEW because I know that it's going to be about 19 minutes till most of you get there. So I'm not spoiling it. I've not told you who's won. I've not said. I am so good. I am so good. What a good boy I am. How you doing? Who was in the car? I don't know who was in the car. I would have to have a look. What I would say is this. If you're watching in America, the person that wins leaves the building. And as they leave, they walk past the car. There's clearly a light on in the car. And there's clearly some people in the car. I'm thinking it could have been Killer Cross in the car. Genuinely, I couldn't see. It was quite quick. So it might be worth just keeping an eye out for that. Who is in the car? Right, we're underway with Cody and Shawn Spears. We've got 18 minutes to go with AEW. NXT has finished for me. Days, do you prefer burgers or burritos? We don't have burritos that much over here, so I'd have to go with burgers because I have them more. J. Cole says it was a good match. Derek says, Days, who's going to beat Braun, Fiend, or Roman? Either way, a lot of history. Either way, we'll end up with Roman Fiend in an NWA Mixing Bowl match with an electric mixer. Check Twitter DMs. I've sent a video of the mask. Who's going to beat Braun, Fiend, or Roman? I would think they want to put the title onto Roman. I think that's been the plan, so I'd go with Roman. I don't think Fiend has ever needed the title. He just found himself with that opportunity to take it from Seth. You could download the BBC News app to your TV and do it via your TV remote. Do what via my TV remote? Like headphones or something? Triple H versus Killer Cross. That would be cool. Do you remember when I met you in Birmingham? Shout out to It's Riley Games. Hope you are well, my friend. Liam says, yes, it can't have been Triple H because why would he stay for that long? It looked like a man and a woman. Well, I mean, look, you would look at it and go, maybe that was Killer Cross, Killer and Scarlet, but could have been Triple H because, of course, the ring is in there. He needs to know when it's over. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, there's two people fighting. The only other person that's in there is the ref. Like, what? Surely if that was happening, I would stay as well. Because, like, if you've got to call an ambulance or, do you know what I mean? I mean, you've got to know when it's over because you've got to start taking the ring down and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I can kind of think it would make sense if it was Triple H, but I think that you're right, that it's probably more likely to have been Killer Cross and Scarlet just watching from a car, which would be a nice little thing. Like, it'd be something you might have missed moment, you know? Because I missed it. I saw there was someone in the car, but from here, I couldn't see who it was. Ben says, I won't spoil it, but the ending of that match did make sitting through it worth it. I would agree with that. The only thing I would say is I really feel like it needed to have commentary, and then as you get to the end, stop the commentary. Because the end's got some real emotion to it, And I think it comes across anyway. But if you had like a commentator and like all throughout, and then as it gets to the end, the commentary just stops, then it would have been even more poignant. It would have been an even stronger, poignant moment. But the way that it's delivered is still very, very good. We're going back to AEW. Days, did you know that Cassius Ohno was originally to be in the Shield? Yes. Well, that was odd. Man and woman, you say? Says Sonny Wolf. Sorry, Days. I always say they are dead after big spots. Dead, damn it. Shout out to you, Jeremy. Drew versus Jinder with Heath Slater as guest referee, says Blue Skies. Dream match. I swear, earlier on in that match, they walked past that car and no one was in it, but I could be wrong. Well, that's interesting. Perhaps they popped to the shops. Perhaps they went to get some snacks. And then they came back or something for the end. I don't know. Shawn Spears grabbing a railing. Is this our main... This must be our main event for AEW. Is set the railing up. Shawn Spears and Cody brawling right now. Oh yeah, hi everyone, I only just got here. Hello Beaver Cleavage, hope you are well. Look at that crutch, says Toy Bandit. Ciampa should be called up to the main roster. He may be after this. And so may Johnny. Nice. Suplex, Cody going into the railing. Brandy coming over to check on Cody. Boom. I like that from Jericho. Jericho saying that the way that Cody just landed there, his foot and his heel hit that railing first. And Jericho said that is deceptively painful. You might look at that and you might not think much of it, but it can really hurt and it can really affect how you walk. So quite interesting insight from Jericho on commentary as Cody is down, managing to kick out. I feel like Cody's going to win this. I feel like Shawn's future is with that tag partner. You know, they're trying to find a partner for him, so him becoming the TNT champion doesn't make a great deal of sense. Cody progressing does. John Elite says there's so many ads. AMBNS says Cody's going to win with the Crossroads. Days, have you pre-ordered the AEW figures? No, J14, I haven't, no. Off the top, Frog Splash by Shawn Spears, but Cody getting his knees up. I want Gargano to win, says David. I heard that the Modelos are worse than Corona. Big strike by Cody. Kind of rocks Shawn, duck underneath. Knee to the midsection. Shawn Spears goes down. Cody backed into the corner. We got around about 10 minutes to go. Lovely power slam. 2.5 for Cody. 2.5 for Cody Rhodes. If you are just joining us, NXT is finished for me. I'm very much looking forward to talking about that ending of NXT. I think it was a very good ending. In regards to AEW, we're underway. Cody with that weight belt. And he throws the weight belt into the crowd. I'm keeping an eye out for Danny Jordan. I haven't seen Danny Jordan, but apparently she's in the crowd. Wow. Sit down powerbomb. 2. Kick out. Oh, I think I can see her, actually. Human Detox, shout out to you. WWE did a great job of not leaking stuff. Apparently, like, Vince was very serious. If anything got leaked, they would find out who it was. They would be fired. I don't know why he doesn't say that anyway, you know? I feel like WWE could do a much better job of kind of cutting down on all the leaked information. I never thought I'd say this, but the women's match on AEW is match of the night. Yeah, that could have been, yeah. I feel like what happens at the end of Gargano and Ciampa definitely puts that in the conversation. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Shida versus Britt Baker is right up there for match of the night. It's either that or Gargano and Ciampa. But that Gargano-Ciampa match is so weird, isn't it? I mean, I'm not spoiling anything. You're watching it right now. I'm sure you agree that it's the way it's being presented is very different to anything that we normally see. AEW 10 out of 10 says Eagles Lair. AEW 10 out of 10 says Toy Bandit. Days, I'm not sure how long the virus is going to last in the US. Schools are closed. I was supposed to graduate from Morton High in Hammond. Shout out to the Carmen Live. Well, it's all out of your hands, isn't it, bud? It is what it is. I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. I mean, if you was meant... I don't know what happens with kids that are meant to graduate. Kind of being robbed of, like, what happens with proms and stuff like that. I think that's more like June time, isn't it? So, maybe it'll be all cleared up by the time, like, it's time for people's proms. Because that'd be bad, wouldn't it? Proms is, like, a really big thing in America. I think it's getting bigger here in the UK. I didn't even have one when I left school. We didn't have them. It's not a thing. Wasn't a thing. But as it's become like popular in America, like here in the UK, we've started to see schools doing them. So yeah, I hope people still have their proms and whatever. NXT is finished for me, and AEW's at commercial break, so that's why I'm talking about proms. Because I've got nothing to tell you about right now. Wait, what? Days, I'm telling you, what happened at the end of the match had me fooled. I was going crazy, says Liam Costa. It's good. I agree, it's very good. I love the emotion. AEW 10, NXT 0.5. USA will be in lockdown for 6 months, says Revelation MG. Right, we're back on Dynamite. We've got 7 minutes to go. We will stick around for about half an hour after, just to chat, see what people want to talk about. Will give us an opportunity to talk about NXT as well. Against ropes goes Cody, Tope Suicina. SmackDown on Friday. Yes, SmackDown on Friday is going to be immense. SmackDown on Friday is going to be absolutely awesome, yes. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully we get some answers in regards to John Cena. That's what everyone wants. They want to know, is Cena turned heel? Has Cena retired? What is going on with John Cena? I don't think that's it for Cena. I think if Cena's going to go, he's going to go in front of a crowd. Table been set up by Cody. Shawn Spears. Big strike to the back of the head. Big chop by Cody. Big strike to the head as well. Cody hurling Shawn Spears into the ring. Cody going up top. Double underhook. Lovely work by Shawn Spears. Man, look at Ciampa's back. Days, thoughts on the Brody Lee vignettes? They're alright. The pickle, they're alright. They don't blow me away. I feel like they could be using him a bit better, but at least it's character development. That's what I've always been asking for. So I'm certainly not going to criticise them giving us them. I always think WWE should give us more vignettes, so it's great to see AEW doing that. Shawn Spears is obviously in the ring with Brandy, having a word with him. Shawn Spears was going to undo that turnbuckle pad. Cody was looking for a crossroads. Brandy, I don't know why Brandy is staying up there. It's so obvious. Shawn has got Cody on his shoulders. Oh, to the outside and through the table. To the outside and through the table. So you're up to the bit where Candice turns on Johnny. That's the bit where I said something's happened. I can't talk about it. Cody is out and is through the table. We've got 4 minutes to go. Days, my mum works for the NHS, and actually what they've been telling us with Boris is lies. He's worse than what they're saying. Apparently he is now on a ventilator machine. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Does she... If you're telling me that your mum is saying that, I totally believe it. I think that they're always going to try and play it down, aren't they? So that they don't cause panic and whatever, but... So, Spears, yeah, he's taking his time here. I don't know why he's being so slow. Spears grabbing the head of Cody. Big slap by Spears. Cody slaps back. Robin813 says, this is emotional. Here we go. Crossroads by Cody. Cody with the crossroads. 1, 2. Oh, Shawn kicks out of a crossroads. I don't know why would they have someone kick out of a crossroads in the first round of a TNT tournament. Two crossroads is kicked out of now. Days, what happened to Huskus after what Cena did to him? Well, we'll find out, won't we? What? LSW. Figure 4. Figure 4 applied by Cody on Shawn. 1, 2. Oh, there we go. Shawn Spears. What's Shawn Spears doing? What is he doing? Jazz hands? What's going on? I don't understand. I don't get that finish at all. Figure 4 leg lock was applied. Shawn Spears didn't tap. Instead, he gets pinned because his shoulders are down. But he does this with his arms. I don't know. What was this? What was happening to him? Pin from a figure 4? Jericho says that was a great finish. I thought it was a very weird finish. Cody Exotic. Cody Exotic has progressed. He will face either Sammy Guevara or Darby Allin. So Shawn Spears is out. Thought Shawn would be out. That was Killer Cross, but it was a bald guy in the car. Was that Cross? That was Killer Cross. It was a bald guy and a blonde girl. AEW is finishing. Right, get your scores in for AEW. Get your scores in for NXT. We can talk about NXT now. I don't think either show really knocked it out of the park. I feel like what I'm left thinking about two things. I'm thinking about Britt Baker's nose, and I'm thinking about the end of Gargano Ciampa. So I feel like both shows both had things to make me think about. So get your scores in. I'm probably going to be... I'm going to say they're quite similar score-wise. I feel like NXT was just ahead for me. I feel like it was just ahead. Although saying that, there was a lot of that Gargano Ciampa match that was just there. That things just happened. The ladder match was okay at the start. I mean, didn't set the world on fire for me. It was okay. Certainly didn't live up to my expectations. I feel like NXT might have been about a 7.25, something like this. I really like the end. That's really swaying it for me with NXT. In regards to AEW, it was just all right throughout. It's just all right. There wasn't really a great deal in there that I kind of lost my mind over either. Although Britt Baker and that match, I mean, taking out Ciampa and Gargano, I'd say the women's match was the best match of the night. So... I don't know, a little bit tricky. I'm going to say that NXT didn't set the world on fire, so it's 7.25. 7.25. But now, how did NXT compare? I wouldn't say NXT was better. AEW was better. I wouldn't say it was better. It's either the same or a 7. It's either the same or a 7. Let's say the same. Let's say the same. I don't like sitting on the fence. I feel like I sit on the fence quite a bit, but I feel like there's not much to split them, to be honest. I really don't think there was much to split them. I think that the ladder match was a little bit disappointing. I think that Gargano Ciampa was a little bit disappointing for the match. I think the end was great. You might remember I actually said that... I said, someone's won, but have they really won? And obviously, NXT's finished now. So Johnny wins, but he hasn't really won because even though they could have done anything, you know, Triple H said, this is the room. Whatever happens here happens. Once it's done, it's done. So on the one hand, you can't look at it and say Johnny turned heel. Because what did he do? It was his fiercest rival. They were both allowed to do whatever it took. It's just that Johnny went further than I think we was expecting because Candice got involved. And obviously there was a plan as well. They both planned it. They definitely leave looking like heels. Both Candice and Johnny definitely leave looking like heels. And this is what I'm saying. Johnny wins the match, but he's not going to win the love of the NXT universe. If anything, Tommaso's lost, and Tommaso will be more popular because at least Tommaso was keeping it relatively clean. Yes, weapons were being used, but you was allowed to use weapons. You know, an extra person getting involved, a plan, a cup, all those kind of things. You know, I mean, it was amazing when I thought that Candice had turned on Johnny. And then obviously it turns out to be a ruse. So I love the end. I thought the end was very creative. And the winner isn't really the winner. And the loser isn't really the loser. So it's very good. Very good. It was Killer Cross and Scarlett in the car. Thought so. Thought so. It's easy and neat. NXT 8.5. I didn't watch AEW. Cross and Scarlett were in the car. Almighty Ironhead says Killer Cross 10 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for AEW. Jacob E. Snow says it did look like someone else. I'm sure there's going to be on Twitter right now. I'm sure that there's... In fact, let's have a look. There's no point sitting here talking about was it Killer Cross. Someone will have answered it on Twitter 100%. I'm sure people in the chat are like, I'm 100% it was. And then I'm sure there's people saying I'm 100% it wasn't. NXT. Let's Google NXT and let's have a look and see. I'm glad I watched NXT this week. Okay, good. I'm pleased for you. The rivalry this rivalry was incredible. Cross and Scarlett in the car. Yeah, you couldn't quite see, although you can see a lady with blonde hair, and that looks like Killer Cross to me. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not seeing anyone saying 100% it was, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Not what I was expecting, but I did enjoy it for 45 minutes and loved the finish, someone said. Why do we keep have to waiting for Killer Cross, says someone else. Watching AEW sounds like women are stealing the show and Jericho was hot on commentary. And so it ends. NXT have just tweeted out, and so it ends. That's what they've said. AEW and NXT are both trending in the top 3. NXT was awesome. Killer Cross and Scarlett. People. I'm not seeing anyone saying 100% that it was them, but I'm 90% it was. This person says, why were Cross and Scarlett in the car, looking like they were about to go on a purge? Maybe they are. Maybe they are about to go on a purge. People asking, was that heel turn? I don't know if it can be seen as a heel turn because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it could be seen as a heel turn because you could do whatever it took to win. It's such a bitter, fierce rivalry, you know? I mean, they've cheated each other all throughout their histories. That on this occasion, Johnny had a plan. Johnny was prepared. He had a plan. He had Candice. He used everything in his to win, you know? So, I don't know if it's a heel turn. I think it'll be perceived as a heel turn. I do think it'll be perceived as a heel turn, but all Johnny did was he just went to the lengths that he's, I don't know, maybe not been prepared to go to before. Yeah, still doesn't seem like anyone's 100% sure. I think it is. Bartender, can I get a Velveteen Dream with a side of Gargano? Hold the Tommaso. What if Fiend has twisted the mind of most of the locker room and aimed them all at Undertaker? There's no evidence for that. Sophia says, Days, what did you think about WrestleMania 36? I gave it an 8 out of 10. My favourite moments were AJ, Undertaker, and Edge Orton. I was probably a little lower. Might have been overall like a 7.5, something like that. So maybe I was just a little bit lower. I think definitely AJ Undertaker. I think that's something that I'm looking forward to rewatching again. I think the imagery of the Funhouse was excellent, but I think calling it a match was a big mistake because the criticism I saw mostly was people saying that wasn't a match. If they'd have said that it was a special Firefly Funhouse starring John Cena, you know, maybe in the build, Cena just refuses to have a match, says, I'm not going to have a match. I'm not prepared. I haven't been training. I'm not fighting you. And instead, he just gets invited onto the Funhouse. I think people still would have been as excited, and maybe it would have explained things a little bit better. It was a special Firefly Funhouse episode rather than it being... Because we were told it was going to be a match, so we were expecting a match. So that's really where the main criticism came from that. But I think the imagery in it, the storytelling, the creativity was brilliant in that Firefly Funhouse segment. Boneyard I thought was excellent. Edge Orton, I do agree it went too long. I think if you have a match where you can lose 15 minutes and it doesn't matter... I think then you have to say it went too long. It's the second longest WrestleMania match ever. I thought that the end was good of it. I thought there was moments throughout that were good as well. I think you could have took off 15 minutes, still kept those good bits, and it would have been brilliant. But for me, it did just go a touch long. But good, great to see Edge back in action, and such an epic match as well. I suppose in a way it needed to be epic because of the build. So yeah, the match is all right. I think I gave that 6.5, which might, as I said at the time, maybe it's like a 7. Maybe I'm being a little bit down on it, but doesn't matter. 6.5, 7. My favourite match was Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. I loved that match. I thought it was great storytelling. I don't mind Charlotte winning. I think that you've got, it makes sense to have Charlotte win because she really is the mountaintop when it comes to women's wrestling. Clearly, they see her as the mountaintop. She ended Asuka's streak. She's had like 10 championship reigns. She won the Royal Rumble. Like, she really is the John Cena of the women's division, and as a result, she really splits people's opinions. So, is Rhea really ready to beat someone like Charlotte? I would argue not. If Rhea had been in NXT for years and had been competing for the women's title for a long time and all of this, then maybe her time would be now. But she's been in NXT UK, like over there, which I do see as like the weakest brand. So she's been in NXT UK. She only really moved to NXT at the end of 2019. Then she managed to get the women's title. Big shock. Don't know how many people thought she would beat Shayna for that, but she got the victory over Shayna. And then you fast forward a few months, she's at WrestleMania. She's facing Charlotte. I think realistically, you would look at it and say she probably shouldn't be winning, because their paths will cross in the future, and you've got such good backstory now, revenge, redemption. This is something that Rhea needs. She needs to beat Charlotte. She needs to avenge that loss at WrestleMania 36. So it gets Charlotte onto NXT. It gives Rhea something to work towards. And I don't think it made Rhea look weak. I actually had more respect for Rhea after the match than I had before the match. I thought the match was the best match of the weekend. So, yeah. The only problem is, for all this great stuff, it was done in a performance center that I didn't think was decorated all that well. I thought that it had nice lasers, but I was expecting a bigger stage, or I was expecting more of a pirate theme, or I was expecting more. There was nothing in the way of legends. We didn't get Hogan. We didn't get Stone Cold. There wasn't The Rock. I know there's a lot of challenges, so I know you've kind of got to still praise them for what they were able to achieve. But I think maybe my expectations were too high going into it. It's WrestleMania. They kept hyping it, in all fairness. They kept saying it's WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, the show of shows. So I did expect the staging to be different than Raw and SmackDown. So when it was the same stage and the same arena and largely the same decorations outside of a WrestleMania logo, some LED boards, kind of go, oh. So I think I was a little bit down on that. And then you've got things like King Corbin and Elias, and you go, okay. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley didn't set the world on fire. Shayna versus Becky didn't set the world on fire. I mean, you could just go through a list of matches that were just there, and they were okay. So for every highlight, kind of felt like there was just matches that were all right. So I think probably I've settled on like a 7.5. If average is 6.5, then I feel like this was 7.5, because there was definitely things that elevated it above average, but then there's a lot of stuff that was just average, and even some stuff that was below average, like, both championship matches. I kind of felt that the Brock-Drew match was just a complete replica of Braun versus Goldberg. I mean, they were both the same match. Both very quick, same match. Wasn't really bothered. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on WrestleMania. In regards to tonight, I kind of feel like AEW did a decent job. I think they leaned a lot on promos. Not a great deal of action. Was there like 4 matches maybe, across the 2 hours? And some of them were quick, like Lance Archer and Brody Lee. The women's match was very good. Thought the main event was all right. Had a few decent moments in it, but it was all right. Not as good as the women's match. I love Jake's promos. I think Jake the Snake's a brilliant promo. Having indie wrestlers and a few AEW stars at ringside was okay. We saw Danny Jordan, as was pointed out in the chat. So, yeah, I mean, look, for the world that we're in at the moment, I think AEW gave us a show. There was no replays or repeats of anything, and so you've got to praise it. In regards to NXT, I think that end was quite emotional. I think there's big question marks around Johnny and the future and all of that. I think there's question marks around the future of Tommaso Ciampa as well, so that'll be quite interesting. I think the ladder match didn't quite live up to expectations. Personally, I didn't like having Raquel Gonzalez and Stone at ringside, Robert Stone, as I said at the time. I think it was interesting seeing the new Indian tag team, but they didn't set the world on fire, but I think they've got a great look. I'm confused about why they're talking about Balor and Volta, because I don't know when that match is coming. I thought they would have just pushed it to one side, but there was a little bit of promotion for that, so I'm not sure what's happening with that. And I can't even remember anything else that happened. I think pretty much most of that final hour was Gargano and Ciampa, which gave us a good match. I missed commentary. There was a lot of silence, so I really missed the commentary on it. But good end. So, yeah, weighing everything up, they're probably about the same. Both shows are probably about the same for me, so... Days, do you mind if I get a shout out? I've been watching a lot of your streams. Shout out to Logic Gaming. Hope you are well. Wrestling Days fan says the Insiders are starting. Are they? I didn't even know there was anyone tonight, to be honest. Let me double check. Are the Insiders starting? Let's have a look. If they are, we can jump over there. Yes, they are. The Insiders are starting. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do then is we'll finish up here. I didn't know the Insiders were starting. Let me go. I'm not prepared to end. Let me see if I can just skip over to where I need to go to end this stream then. So, yeah, we'll come to a finish and we'll go over. We can continue talking over on the Insiders Wrestling podcast. Get your final thoughts into the chat whilst I'm just getting to... I can't just press a button and end. I've got to get over to where you end. So let me press those buttons and go over, and we'll get over there to end. Yes, get your final thoughts in. Days, Candice turned. Yeah, I think she probably did, Louis. I think she probably did. Days, have you used the ref count from that kids magazine? I'm not too sure what you use it for, in all fairness. So once I figure out what you use it for, I mean, like, a ref count, surely it only needs to go to 3. But why would you even need... I can't quite figure out what you use it for. Once I do, boom. Days, unless you stream something tonight, I'll see you on Friday. See you later, Ben Russell. Days, I tweeted you a picture of who was in the car. Thank you, Keen. Remember Jake the Snake on Lucha Bros Moving Company. Candice is heel. Are they heel? Are they heel? Was it a heel thing to do? I'm not sure. Sean Reset says, later Days, shout out to you, bud. Days, if you think about it, Tommaso deserved it. He made Johnny and Candice heel after the turn. They got revenge. They just didn't turn. I don't understand what that message, but it's probably written fine, but it's probably because I know I need to get over to Insiders. Anthony says it was Cross and Scarlett in the car. J14 says, I'm going to head to bed. No worries, dude. Days, I tweeted you, please look, and never ask you to look at my tweets. Please look, dude. Now is not a great time. Days, I just said that James Dennis. Yeah, James Dennis is who they are interviewing. Let me see if I can go over. Yeah, I've got pictures. People are sending me pictures. It's not very clear, is it, in all fairness? Thank you to everyone that sent that picture. There's zoomed in images, and it definitely does look like I'll show it on stream, because obviously this is the big talking point right now. But yeah, that is who's in the car. It's not the best picture. That is like the image that's doing the rounds. That looks to me like Killer Cross. That does look to me like Killer Cross. That woman looks scary though, doesn't she? I'd have to compare her to Scarlett to know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Days, it was Killer Cross and Scarlett. There we go. People seem to be pretty convinced by that. So, right, guys, we are finishing 10 minutes early because the Insiders have got an interview up on their channel. So I don't really want to overrun against the Insiders. I mean, in all fairness, we have been streaming for 3 hours 20 minutes. So I think we have been kind of covering bits and bobs, and yeah, you know, we can continue the conversation over there onto that video. So we'll finish up here. If you jump over there, I'll be in the chat over there as well. So search for the Insiders Wrestling Podcast. Insiders Wrestling Podcast. You'll be able to see that there's a live video over there right now, a little interview that's being conducted. And I'll be in there and I'll be in the chat. So everyone that joined us, really appreciate it. I don't think there's a stream tomorrow. I haven't got anything planned. In all fairness, I haven't got anything planned. My focus has been on WrestleMania, so I haven't got anything lined up, but there will be some. There'll either be a video or there'll be some kind of a stream. There'll be something that hits the channel, so keep an eye out for that. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate the support. I'll see you over on the Insiders Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget as well, the Wrestling Escape Pod. Wrestling Escape Pod, our brand new podcast, my podcast, with Tommy Toy Travels. Episode 2 is on Friday after SmackDown. So if you haven't seen episode 1, it's all about WrestleMania. It's just over an hour. And it's all about WrestleMania, full of facts, interesting stuff, a few laughs in there as well. This week is going to be about the Wrestling Days channel, and it's going to be about Tommy's channel as well. So we're just going to take a moment to kind of introduce ourselves. So it's about 50 minutes this week. Kind of kept it a little bit shorter, and then this is the only time we'll do it as well. We'll talk about our channels, but every other episode is going to be about wrestling. So it'll be about wrestling figures, or it'll be about other bits and bobs. So yeah, it's going to be hopefully enjoyable. I was editing it earlier today, so that'll be up on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel on Friday, episode 2. But episode 1 is up now for you to enjoy. And don't forget, you can use that discount code on Euroshop. Days20 saves you £20, euros, whatever it is, wherever you are, when you spend 100. So there we go. You can use that and save some money. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you over on the Insiders Wrestling Podcast, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.